What's going on? This is Slips and King Hippo's podcast.
Hello.
We don't have a name because, I mean, who knows how many people are even going to listen to this? We'll come up with a name.
Don't be cynical. You know, there might be an audience.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get something going just because I'm really liking Injustice 2. And I went to Combo Breaker. It's fun. Yeah. And, like, you know, there's so much shit happened. And I was just like, man, like, I wanted to go home. I wanted to, like, see what the narratives were, what people were saying. And then, like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
Well, you're not in the right, you're not in the right Discord.
Ghost town. Discords are just, you know, your own little bubble, like, you know, your own little friends.
Whoa.
There's no community. Like, I want to go home and I want to watch Sports Center. Or I want to watch, like, you know, Pardon the Interruption or something. Like, where's my Keith Olbermann or Dan Patrick or whatever? Like, where are the narratives? Like, that's
exactly what I want. I want Keith Olbermann talking about the FGC.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I guess I'll be the Keith Olbermann. I'm boring and white. I'll be the Keith Olbermann.
I'm just saying.
You could be the Tony Kornheiser.
Tony, man, I don't even know who that is. Is that a New School Sports Center person?
The guy who hosts PTI. That's such a blow up.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, my
Wait,
God.
Is that the white guy or is that the
that's
black
the
guy?
White guy.
Oh.
Man, okay.
I just felt bad for the white guy because the black guy got on, like, Monday Night Football and everything. Like, he was killing the game.
Tony used to do Monday Night. Dude, this is a blow up. I don't even watch sports, and I know more about this than you do. Tony did do Monday Night
Wait, no, the white guy was the one that did Monday Night Football.
Oh, my God.
We might need to edit all of this out in the beginning.
No.
Anyway.
We leave our stupidity.
It means I'm not racist that I can't even distinct from the two.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted something. I was like, what? I was like, this is such a good game. There's so much stuff happened that, I mean, the commentators do a good job, but, you know, it's very brief when they get to explain, like, the narratives and stuff that's going on and the history. And I was just like, man, like, there needs to be something. So
yeah, I mean, and sometimes they do it, but they just talk too damn fast. But we'll get to that. I think all your points are well said. I think, you know, without. And we'll get to it later too, but without TYM, you know, there's things to talk about beyond just the play, the fact that it happened. There's a lot of FGC-centric podcasts and Twitch live streams out there that are good, and they do cover important issues that are in the FGC. But for NRS specifically, there's not that much anymore. You know, it happens and people talk about it, but as soon as it happens, it's almost gone. You know, and there's nothing to capitalize on it. There's nothing to recap, like the cool behind-the-scenes stuff. And the little interminglings, the drama, because the drama isn't always toxic. The drama can be very fun and very motivating, I think. But I think too many people think it's toxic. We don't talk about the drama. But it's fun, right? I mean,
drama's good, yeah. If it's not toxic,
right?
Of course.
And somebody needs to be out there to say this is the bad stuff and this is the good stuff. And by all means, you don't have to listen to us. We may not know what we're talking about, but at least we're talking about it, right?
Someone's got to fucking say something, goddammit.
Yeah.
So,
doing it without
I don't even know if people even know who I am, so just a brief thing, like, I guess brief self-intro.
Okay.
I've been playing since 2000. I've been doing this for, 18 years. Or, I mean, not doing this. I guess I just mean playing fighting games. I could have had a kid. 18 years. I could have raised a kid and secured my immortality.
Could have been Tom Brady.
But instead I was doing this shit. So, I mean, I've been around the block. I've got a few, like, you know, evil finalist things in Tekken, and I played MK9. I mean, I kind of started with the I grew up with I was around at NRS's competitive scene's infancy, I guess you could say. So I've been around the block. So, I mean, I guess that's the only credentials I have. Otherwise, I'm a complete jackass on pretty much every other subject.
Well, for folks at home, Slips is being a little modest. In certain circles, this man's a legend. But, yeah, I mean, I'm nobody. You know, if anything, I'm nobody. I'm a dude that I started playing fighting games in 2009 when the bubble really launched. You know, it was Street Fighter 4. And that
was huge.
Yeah, it was. And I've been with, you know, the NRS side of games since MK9 came out, you know, back in 2011. Right. I've been through all of them. I've seen all that's come to be. I mean, I don't even have any notable results to my name. One time I placed pretty okay at one tournament for Injustice, and that's pretty much it. But, I've
People
forced...
speak highly of you. People like you.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I've forged some good...
guy. Yeah, he's pretty good. I've played him.
I've forged some good friendships. I feel like I have an eye on what's going on in the scene. I think I have a voice. I've been doing a series of...
Got the mind for it.
I've been doing a blog that's been pretty popular.
I've seen that.
FTC circles, yeah. So I think this is a good way of extending it. I think people like to listen to things more than they like to read. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing this.
I don't read shit. I hate reading.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Thanks Kanye for your non-reading. This slant against reading. You got Ray Bradbury over here burning books. Yeah, I think it's good to have like a listenable form of something that you can listen on the road, you can listen in the car when you're at work. That's like KTP, and I didn't want to bring it up because it is a long legacy that it leaves. But you were, one of the co-hosts of KTP. I've done a few of my own podcasts on the side. In fact, I tried to do a around the horn, pardon the interruption type show with a couple people, and I never was able to consistently get it. But you were on KTP, which I would argue was a cornerstone of like MK9 and Injustice at its height. Would you agree?
It helped. I think. Yeah, it helped because the scene was so young, and there just wasn't a whole lot of like tournament veterans from other scenes to like I don't know, just kind of like tell people what the hell's going on in the game.
Right.
Just like give some veteran insight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and then always other scenes have people like Eris and things like that. Like who doesn't love avoiding the puddle, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
I always wonder. I was like, I don't know if it's podcast, maybe podcasts are outdated, but they're not. You hear podcasts.
Oh no way! Oh no.
People love podcasts.
Yeah, people do. I mean, you guys were doing it as just a YouTube video before it was a podcast. Even I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
So I think we're good. Fun. I think we're in a good spot.
Anyway, let's get into it. Let's stop patting ourselves on the back here.
Yeah.
So Combo Breaker, Injustice 2. Was some crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I don't know what it is about Combo Breaker, maybe because it's the home of NRS, but it every time, and this is going as far back as like when it was the UFGT, if the dinosaurs in the audience can remember that. It's always been exciting. It's always been great. Now, a lot of times it's the first event for a newly released NRS game. Now, this time it wasn't. Injustice 2 released, I think, in June or maybe later May than it normally does. Usually NRS games come out in April. So we didn't have a Combo Breaker. This was the first Combo Breaker for Injustice 2. And, I mean, it delivered.
I think people kind of forget how young the game is still.
Yeah,
just because
it's just barely over a year old.
The first one.
Mm-hmm. It's barely a year old.
Yeah, so... But I thought the biggest thing was the regulars that we were accustomed to, like Sonic, Dragon, King, Forever King, Theo, Samij. I mean, those guys weren't even in the top 8, save for Sonic 5.
Well, I think Sonic is the safe constant. He may not win, but he'll be up there.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, remember Combo Breaker 2015 MKX? He got second against Dizzy in MKX, and that was huge. I mean, that was news. Everybody's talking about it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is always been an exciting tournament, always good for upsets. I don't know what it is. Miracles have happened at this tournament. It was so miraculous. Even Carl got top 8 at Combo Breaker 2016 for MKX. I mean, anything can happen.
I thought I love that Tweety won.
Oh man, what a story!
I mean, the dude, didn't he start off I don't know, maybe I'm being a douche, but didn't he kind of start off as kind of like a troll on TYM, just kind of being a jackass?
Yes, you are a douche, but it's not. I remember being on TYM, and Tweety was like, he was that overzealous dude, that overzealous, like you might as well have had that, how in TYM when you don't have an avatar, but it's like a question mark?
Uh-huh.
That's what it was like. Like, it was just this dude who you had no idea who it was. And this is back in, MKX, because it's funny, with MKX, it's sort of got a second life because they went to a rollback-style netcode, midway through the game's life. So we didn't have, like, a bunch of online tournaments and things like that, which has been a really huge help for the latter half of MKX and Injustice 2 as far as finding talent, right? We didn't have that back then, and I don't think Tweety travels that often. I think he still doesn't.
He's someone who's benefited greatly by online, good online.
Absolutely.
And like he's really like evolved. Like you can tell like he's worked hard, and people like it's like almost like people like don't want to give him props because he's worked hard at it. And it's just like, oh, good for Tweety, he's worked really hard. And it's just like, no, that's what you got to do. Yeah. Like we're not all. Most of us aren't fucking Sonic Foxes, Chris G's, and Justin Wong's and Alex Vai's. Most of the people that have to win, like most people that win, just work. You gotta work. You gotta practice. And I remember, just watching him throughout War of the Gods. Like he was doing, like he'd do solid, and then just the more I'd watch him, I was just like, because I was I kind of when I heard the Turtles were coming out is when I started kind of getting back into Injustice 2.
Absolutely.
And I started using Superman. And, I'd watch the other Supermans, and I'd buy, like, the basic B&Bs and, like, the basic, like, cross-up setups. But I remember, like, I would watch Tweety, and he was just doing stuff that, like, none of the other Supermen were doing. He was a little bit crisper, a little more optimal. And I just would watch, and I'd be like, oh, my God, that's so smart. And, like, every week he would have something else. And this was just fucking Superman. And I remember I was super impressed when he beat Silver Eyes Hellboy in War of the Gods with Superman. And I've played Silver Eyes.
You teared about Hellboy.
I fucking hate Hellboy, especially in that match. Like, do not get me started. Like, I was just floored. I think
he's seething. Listen to him, yeah.
Oh, dude, that damn upshot, dude. I had no idea. I was like, how the hell do you beat that fucking thing? And I still don't know. I should really rewatch what the hell he did. But I was just like, wow, this guy's on. Yeah, this guy's fucking really good.
Right. Well, I think you've got a good point of it. But I think the more important thing is that Tweety. How do I describe this? Being as nice as possible, because it is funny, but he's volatile, right? Doesn't care for the niceties of competition. Some people don't. The late, great 16-bit would be one of those guys,
The niceties?
The niceties. The good games. You got me this time, I'll get him next time. It's always the wallowing despairs of emo-dumb if you lose. Talking shit all the time. I mean, that's what he does, right? And people don't like that.
He's competitive.
Well, I know, but I'm telling you, that's probably why some people. I mean, we had a guy say that he wasn't the type of human to challenge him. Think about that.
Wait, what was it? Didn't Sonic Fox talk shit on him?
Well, okay, so yeah, a little bit of background going into Combo Breakers. So, and this wasn't as bad as the Tekken Master one, but what it is basically I remember on Twitter. Someone was talking about Sonic and Tweety, and Sonic was like, yeah, Tweety, he's all right. He's like a mid-level guy, right?
Oh, mid-level.
Which, I mean, at the time, this was,
months
ago.
War of the Gods. He's mid-level.
This was months ago, This was before the Season 2 win.
Okay, all right.
It's like, all right.
That might have been a true statement back then.
What's that?
That might have been a true statement back then.
It may have been, but he took it hot. He took it really offensively, and they started arguing, and I think they played. I don't know if it was like on War of the Gods or whatever, but I know Tweety did not win this encounter. So it's humbling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the Tekken Master one is a lot different, and to me, totally wacky for him to say something like that. So for the folks at home who don't know, was it like two months before Combo Breaker, maybe a month? Tweety asked somebody for experience against Atrocitus so he could, quote, body bag the international Atrocitus players. Right? Now, Tekken Master does at times play Atrocitus. It's hard to nail down a main for Tekken Master, but Atrocitus is definitely in that wheelhouse, right?
He got second with him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he took offense to that. And he was like, what's up, man? Like, you're just salty that I beat you. Blah, 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 right? Like, they're talking shit.
What, they played?
Yeah, they've played before. Actually, you know what? I think I just made a huge mistake because I'm a numbnuts. I believe the game came out in time for Combo Breaker 2017, but it was super early, like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think there was because I know they played in tournament, and I think it was at Combo Breaker 2017. So.
Oh wow! Like yeah, who cares?
Yeah, so it was 2017 and Combo Breaker 2017, and he beat him, and so he was holding that over his head, and then they start arguing back and forth, blah blah blah, chest pounding, and then for like the next couple of weeks, Tekken Master's posting like memes of like Sylvester eating Tweety from Looney Tunes.
It's a weird. Why is his name Tweety?
I have no idea.
It's a weird origin name.
It is. We'd like to know the origin one of these days, probably. Hopefully.
I didn't. He looks young.
Yeah, I think he is.
I know who Tweety is.
Well, I mean, it's not like the Looney Tunes went out of fashion. Who doesn't love Space Jam?
Dude, most people have never even seen Space Jam.
That's okay. We're moving on because we're not speaking horse shit here. We're trying to get to the truth of the matter. Anyways, so Tekken Master's going on and on and on about how, I'll buy this guy, he's posting the memes, all that stuff. And pretty soon, everyone wants to see these guys play regardless of the tournament, right? You got to, at this point. And Mr. Aquaman, who helps run the War of the Gods, right, says that he's willing to help stream a Sunday because the NRS games this year were going to be Friday and Saturday. There was no Sunday slot.
Right.
So he was willing to put up enough to do a Sunday exhibition between the two after all the tournaments had concluded, right?
Pretty badass.
Pretty badass. And about a week before Combo Breaker, Tekken Master ominously on Twitter says, people have been asking me about the challenge to Tweety, and this is what I have to say. And it's this meme picture of like racing dogs in like the kennel, like how they unleash the cages and they go out. And there's a cheetah in one of them. Not Cheetah from Injustice 2, but a cheetah, right?
Okay.
And the text of it says something like, someone wondered who would win a fight, or a race, a cheetah or dogs. And the cheetah didn't even bother because he knew himself racing was an insult to the dog.
Wow.
Which, all you can take, and then later, he deleted this, but I think Pig saved it. Him saying that Tweety's not the type of human I'd like to challenge.
Wow.
Like, whoa, right? Like, he's a waste of my time, and he basically said he's a waste of my time, I'm trying to focus on these tournaments, MKX and Injustice 2, right? And it's like, damn! Like, now it's on, right? And what better comeuppance than this tournament? You couldn't write this.
How, man, like...
Am I wrong? Like,
so he didn't... So what? I mean, what happened? He didn't play him or what?
They did not play in tournament, and they certainly didn't play in, like, they certainly didn't play outside of casual. They may have. They may have played casuals. I don't know. I wasn't there. You were there. But you probably didn't care.
I didn't see if they did. I don't think they did.
And so, no. It was just a matter of placings. And?
So, Tekken Master, who backed out? Like, let's get to the who backed out.
I mean, a lot of people are like, man, Tweety started it with. I mean, it's a jab. The body bag, the international atrocities, right? That's a jab. But
right.
Tekken Master was the one who kept talking his shit for weeks, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Fuck this."
So he backed out.
He definitely backed out. He definitely backed. He's a cheetah. Tweety's a dog. I'm not in this fight, right? And
someone calls you out, and then you respond, and then you back out when it gets close.
Can't do it, man. You can't. I mean, to be fair, I'll be very fair. The response was brutal.
The cheetah wouldn't have said something. He took off in the race as soon as he responded to Tweety.
Yeah, I mean,
if he was truly a cheetah, he wouldn't even responded to Tweety in the first place about the international atrocious player. As soon as he responded to that, he's the cheetah, and he started running right there. You're in the race. You just entered the race.
Yeah, I mean, and cheetahs can't even talk, so how could he respond?
Like I'm going to give him the negative on that. He shouldn't have engaged.
And
you think that
entire community
shouldn't have engaged him to begin with.
The entire community was against it.
Congruent with his initial actions, and that's a blow up.
Absolutely.
Official stamp. That's an official stamp. Blow up.
The official stamp. Do we have a blow up stamp?
That's a blow up stamp.
All right, I'll take it. So
right on the forehead.
So wow. That was arguably the biggest story going into Combo Breaker.
I do remember seeing some things on Twitter about it.
Right. There was a couple other cool things, like this was the first tournament of the second season of the Injustice Championship Series tournament.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad there's another season.
Right, so there's another one of those where every tournament, you get points and it leads to a finals and things like that. So they're going to do that again. So Combo Breaker was the first one. Now, Combo Breaker is not only in the Injustice Pro Series, but it's also in the Tekken World Series, and it's also the highest level event in the Capcom Pro Tour. So this is a big tournament, right?
This is probably, it's either this or CEO as far as the second biggest tournament in the
Absolutely.
And it was freaking really good, too.
Combo Breaker, out of 19 tournaments, 17 of them had over 100 entrants. The only games that didn't were MK9 and Smash Melee, which had 95.
Really?
This is a tournament that included such classic games that you remember having 100 entrants, like Vampire Savior, Skullgirls, Killer Instinct.
They have everything here. Unlike Evo, they have everything here. It's a really good tournament.
Like Planet of the Apes, the musical. This tournament has everything. It's something that you have to go to.
How many people just got that reference?
Everybody knows about Dr. Zaius. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
Sure they're all applauding right now.
Absolutely.
They're on their train going to work. I love the Planet of the Apes musical reference.
Anyway, so you're at Combo Breaker. Now, why did you decide to go to Combo Breaker, other than it's obviously tight?
I don't want to fucking talk about myself too much. I just wanted to fucking go. I wanted to play with the fucking Ninja Turtles. They're my childhood heroes.
Childhood heroes?
Yeah, man. They were like my friends.
Your friends?
Yeah. They were great pals, man. Every day after work,
After work? Your childhood pals who were working? How old
every
are
day
you?
after school, like you get home, you turn it on, and then the fucking Ninja Turtles, they're like your best. They're like, that was the great conditioning of happiness was, school's done. I can't wait to watch the Turtles. Like that was like the big highlight. Go home, watch the Turtles, wind down. And then, like, maybe play some games, eat dinner, do homework, watch Star Trek Next Generation, go to sleep, and then go back and, do it all again. That was, like, the routine for, like, my grade school years. It's great.
All right, so that makes sense. So you play Leonardo, who, as far as he does machines, right?
No, he's the leader, man. Leonardo leads.
That was a test.
Donatello does machines.
That was a test, and you passed. So you are not a Fairweather Turtle fan.
Dude, I had posters of the Turtles. I had all the figurines. The only toy that I didn't have was the sewer. I was very sad. I had the Technodrome. I had the Turtle Blimp. I had the pizza thrower. I had the plunger gun. I had it all, dude. I had Ray Fillet. I had them all. Muckman. Ooh, dude, I love the Turtles. I had the comics. They're my shit. Yeah, so I don't know. It was like there was no one using them. I was like, well, someone's got to fucking use the Ninja Turtles. Chicago's 4 hours away. So, right.
Right on.
That was pretty much it.
All right. That's cool.
I wanted to give him a good showing.
So, some other things going into Combo Breaker. War of the Gods. So, there hadn't been a big Injustice 2 tournament. There had been little pockets of tournaments. But one where everyone was at. This was the first big one since maybe the finals, the E-League finals for Injustice Championship Series back in, October, something like that, September, October of last year.
I thought this was interesting because this was the first NRS tournament where there was good online from a launch, from a game's launch. So it's like, NRS games are still like pretty cheap when they first come out. Like there's like some cheap shit that like usually gets patched out, and then that second year is when it gets like even MKX. Like the first year was like holy shit, look at this shit. Yeah. And then the second year, like they toned a lot of it down, and the game was a lot better. And then this time around, there was some cheap stuff like Atrocitus was really cheap in the beginning. Deadshot was really cheap. Batman, they not like MKX cheap. But it's still like, man, this is cheap. And then it's all been toned down, and the game is in a really good spot right now. And to really see who comes up out of this, out of like a full year of fleshing out, there's not all this fucking dog shit that you can lose to. Like, it's really a battle of the minds now. And I thought that's what made this tournament really interesting. Um, a lot of good upsets. I thought Knicks beating Sonic Fox was awesome.
Oh, whoa, yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of great ones. Well, we're going to get to them. I got a list of them here.
That one like started off like holy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the other thing I did want to mention was that so when the Injustice Championship Series ended, we were in a weird sort of thing where Sonic won most of the events, right? We can argue he's the winningest Injustice 2 player for sure.
He's the most winningest like fighting game player
of currently. Yeah, absolutely. But Dragon won Evo and the Injustice Championship Series.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to be here. He hadn't been in a tournament in a while. So I would think everyone was excited to see whether or not he'd end up defending, that title in a sense, right? Because we want to see those guys play. And we'll get to see if they did. So let's get right into it. Look at the pools. Some fun facts. In one of the first pools, Beyond Toxin, did not make it out of the pool. So Combo Breaker is unique in that you can actually have 3 people out of pools, right?
I love that.
Yeah, that is shout outs to Curly W who does the brackets. He figured out a way to make it so 3 people come out. So what happens basically?
That is brilliant.
It's genius.
I don't know how many times that's happened to me.
Right.
It happened to me at Frosty Faustings actually.
Yeah, I think they do it too. Yeah.
No, I mean I got Double Jeopardy.
Oh, you got Double Jeopardy. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a neat thing where if you get to winners finals of a pool, you are going into the next round.
Yeah, I love that.
And losers still have to qualify all the way through. Losers finals gets 1 person to come out of it.
Right.
Right. So even then, Beyond Toxin did not make it out of his pool. He lost to Ominous and he lost to somebody else. Right. And he's one of those guys, he played MKX a lot, and he's playing Dragon Ball Fighter. He ended up getting 17th in Dragon Ball Fighter. It's not bad at all, by any means. But there's a lot of guys that came from MKX and into Injustice 2, and it feels like they can't quite get into, well, I'll call it the third gear. Because it's like, when you want to win tournaments or you want to place a lot, you have that. You can play for a while, you can get through pools, but you got to have that third gear to be able to get into top 8s and win sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seems to not have it because he always has had trouble doing it. What do you think is the answer for? And he played Ominous, who's another guy like that. Maybe here or there he'll get a top 8, but for the most part he seems kind of languishing in like top 16 or 9th place. What do you've played a lot? What do you think is the reasoning for something like that?
I think there's that. It's kind of like in baseball, how they talk about like, most pitchers can throw like 90 plus, like 93, 95 miles an hour,
mm-hmm.
and then there's that occasional pitcher that can throw really hard, like 99 plus, triple digits, and it doesn't seem like that much, but you talk to any batter, and they're just like, man, that extra 4, 5, 6 miles an hour is a huge difference. And I think that's kind of the case when it comes to top players. It's just like that one extra level that you need to reach to. It doesn't seem like much. Like maybe it's just, learning this one, or maybe there's just a few matchups you don't know very well. Maybe it's just optimizing, this situation or that situation a little bit better. And those little things add up. Those little tiny things, they really add up to thrust you into the cream of the crop, really. And so, I mean, I kind of felt that when I was there. Like, I was just like, man, I'm good. I'm doing pretty good, but there's just another level, maybe 2 levels I need to reach before I can really, before I could, even touch these people.
Right. I mean, and it's definitely a thing. It's not easy, and I'm not saying that it's easy and that these guys suck for not being able to do it. It's just, it's something a lot of people don't talk about. I think if you don't, but you have to be realistic, and I think you have to understand that it's there and it's a thing.
It's the Tweety thing now. Saying you got to work hard. Like it's like when you're playing a new game, like a fresh game that you've never played before, and you're getting all these achievement unlocks. And the more you play it, the more it gets spaced out, and then towards the end of the game, there's just a couple of achievements that you haven't gotten, and the 1 or 2 that are there are just so tedious, and you're just like, what? I've already beat the shit out of the game. I'm gonna do these. Fuck this. But those little things, like those are the things that cap you.
Mm-hmm.
Those buy you, and the people that put the work in to get those little nuanced things in are the ones that end up winning.
And it's worth also saying the more experience you get at it, the more you may not fall victim to the outside circumstances, the fatigue, the cracking under pressure, that kind of stuff.
Like it's hard to just come out of nowhere and
Sure.
just fucking win. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's worth
usually
pointing out.
It takes like a few tries. Like, you get familiar with the situation, and you make your first upset. You beat like a top player, and you're feeling yourself, and it's hard to focus after that. Like
Sure.
You're on cloud nine, like, and then you're not even thinking about the game. It's just like you already felt like you've won something. But you have to have that hunger and that drive. Like, I beat this top player. Now I got to beat this top player. Okay, now I like you really got to be like, I want to win. Like I want to win, or whatever your goal is. Like, if you got to keep your eye on the prize, and the more you think about the past, you're gonna fail. Like, the moment you take yourself out of the present and you're not looking at the future correctly, or if you're looking too back on the past matches, you're done. You're done. Just forget it.
Yeah.
You're essentially on autopilot at that point. It's mental.
It is mental. It is mental. And I think, though, the other thing is you can't fall into those complacency traps. If you do, now, to be fair, this all goes back to motivation. If you do want to get to the next level, then by all means you have to not settle for, well, I did this and I did this, and maybe it's just bad luck. You gotta look more into it. But if your goal isn't, by all means, then just keep playing it. I mean, top 16 is good, right? We all agree, top 16 is great. But if you do want to keep going and you do want to improve, I think you have to be honest and look at why you keep getting those placings, and maybe there might be something, because at this point, you're not lacking for skill. It's probably an intangible that you really have to get at.
You also just got to make sure that you're having a good time.
Oh,
like, sometimes you can get so caught up in your motivations and your goals that you forget why you started playing to begin with. And then if you start like getting in your feels about, just barely missing it, or just out of reach, or why didn't I just do that? Like, you got to take a step back, and you're just like, you know what? It was fun. I did pretty damn good. I was really close. Let's think about it. Let's think hard, but let's also just remember that you got to love it first before anything else.
Right. I mean, and we both have known a lot of guys that they have success, but they torture themselves to do it, really. They lose, and it's like the depths of despair.
Yeah, you can tell the people that they started off just playing, they're just having fun, and they get good, and just through having fun, and then they get some success. And then they're just like, oh shit, like maybe I can get in that esports money. Oh, maybe I can get on TBS and make it on TV, right. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe I can justify all the time I'm playing this game, and all my friends and family won't think I'm like some hermit weirdo.
I mean,
I can justify it if I can just make all this money. Yeah. But it's just like...
You are.
You whatever. But you gotta... I mean, you gotta love what you're doing,
sure.
and you can't think about, you can't get too much in your feels about losing. You gotta take your loss, and then you gotta look at why you lost, and you just gotta adjust from there, and you just can't get too focused on, oh, I'm so shitty, I'm wasting my time now, blah blah blah. It's a bad attitude,
right? Because what's weird too is some people have that curse of having the drive to really want to do better, but they have to suffer through losing and thinking that, well, I'm the shit, how am I losing? And it's always it's weird, it seems like almost like a masochism thing that you keep playing, even though it clearly pains you to do so, because you're going to have to go through this process, right?
One thing I've always admired about Forever King was that he's always, he'll have good tournaments, he'll have bad tournaments, but whenever you talk to him, he's just having a good time. He'll teabag in the middle of the tournament, and it's great, he's got a great attitude. Like, he doesn't always have the best tournament. Like, he didn't have a good tournament this time around. No. But, I mean, I'm sure, you ask him, he's just like, oh, yeah, I split time between DBZ, but, I had fun. That's a great attitude.
Yeah, I mean...
I love that.
It's hard.
And would there be any surprise if the next tournament he gets top 8?
No, there wouldn't. I think that's the thing, too. Yeah, it's the ability to shake off a tough loss. A really
Gotta
bad
be able
draw.
to, yeah, exactly.
You can't let it get to you because there'll be more. I think the beautiful thing about now too, as opposed to maybe, especially when you were playing at like the mid 2000s or whatever, like there's so many tournaments, there's so many chances at. The nice thing about the FGC, even Tekken Master, who couldn't be more bodied right now, the next tournament that they're both at, it could all be forgotten if he does well.
I'm sure he doesn't care.
Exactly.
I'm sure he doesn't care. He doesn't seem like someone that gives a shit about what Tweety thinks.
Right, no matter even
or about what us dumb Americans
even
think.
if it flies in the face of all logic, he's just like, I don't care, I'm right. And there is something to be admired about that, I think. In a sense.
He's probably like a rich Saudi prince.
Whoa.
He's probably got just girls coming out of the woodwork for him. Like
he's from Bahrain. He's not from the Emirates, so I don't think he's a Saudi prince.
I don't even know where that is.
And this is what we do, folks. So another really cool pool match that we saw on stream was Rewind versus Buffalo. Now, both guys, kind of online guys, right? Buffalo has done really well in War of the Gods some weeks he doesn't. Rewind is a constant in War of the Gods, right? And both have kind of failed to really make a huge splash offline until this tournament. Spoiler alert, but they played early, right? And I think in the winners finals of their pool. And did you watch this match?
I did not.
Okay, so it's Firestorm versus Sub-Zero. It goes down to the last game, and at one point, Buffalo is up on his red life 100% with Clash against Rewind, who has spent his Clash and has 8.95 life. That is so little you can't even see it. You can't see the red sliver of health. He's dead. And as God is my witness, Rewind ran it back and won the match.
Well, he's using Firestorm.
He was using Firestorm, but even though it was some Firestorm horseshit, he only did it the one time. He did one round and he clashed, and nobody had any bar, and he didn't have trade. It's one of those things where you're like, there is a God, because that is the old divine intervention is the only way Rewind could have slipped that through. Both guys had.
I feel like the same thing happened to Buffalo against Forever King at, what was it, final round?
I think it was against Silver Eye. It was against a Batman, but I think it was Silver Eye.
I thought it was Forever. It might have been Silver Eye.
Yeah.
It was a really good. It's one of the top Batman players.
Right. I think at the
Buffalo
time it was Silver Eye.
Using, Michelangelo. I thought. I guess it doesn't matter. But he had it. Like he was killing it. And then he just lost it. His defense fell apart. He started dropping stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's what happened here. He had no life. Anything would have done it. A literal slide chip would have done it. All you had to do was, and it collapsed. And like we said, that's part of the intangibles of like, you have to know when you're at the advantage, and you can't make a dumb mistake. You can't overextend yourself because that's what they want. Even when you have all the chips in your favor, you can't for a second let your guard down,
I'd love to. The same thing happened to me against Firestorm.
Really? Yeah, because you played Magic. So let's talk about this. So you played Magic Man. Magic Man earlier. You might call this an upset. So Nyx deleted Foxy. It was like a 3-0, almost no rounds, right? Like just
this is good.
Yeah, and then Foxy was eliminated right at a top 48 by this guy Magic Man who plays Firestorm. And
I played him once online in rank. And I beat him there, so I was pretty confident going in. There was a game. I think I don't remember the count. I remember one of the games I lost. I was in the lead, and he had a no. It was very close. He had a magic pixel, and his magic pixel he really cashed in on. I remember like kicking myself that game. And then the last game, it was 2-2. I remember being up a whole fucking life bar, and I had him in the corner. And I was like, I got this. This is over. And I did one too many cross-up shell fucking shenanigans in the corner. He blocked it. Got the full combo into the trait, into the vortex.
Oh.
Tied it up. No, I was like, oh my god. And then I was in the corner, so I'm like trying to work my way back in. And then it was on that stage with the statue in the middle. I forgot what the hell that stage is. But he was really good with the with the statue jumping off of it and air dash, and like I was just like, oh my fucking god, he kept working with that, just kept working it, and he ended up getting me. It happens, man. Like, it's just,
it was 3-2, right? Like it was.
Oh, it was close. It was. I mean, it was down to the last gas. Like, ugh, it was heartbreaking. It happens, man. Like you just. It happened to Knicks. Like Knicks beat Sonic Fox.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably not going to talk about it again, so let's talk about it. Knicks plays Sonic Fox and beats him, right?
Like he should have beat him worse. Actually, the first game it looked like Knicks should have won that one, but he messed up a couple combos.
Right, but he kept it together, which he doesn't usually do. We should point out Knicks does fairly well in the War of the Gods stuff, but offline showings again, it hasn't really clicked. Right.
It's something the commentators touched on too. They're like, Knicks, he's known to get really close, and then he kind of chokes out, and he beat Fox, and then when he played Tweety, that was insane. That was nuts, dude. I couldn't believe it. Like the first game, like Knicks won pretty. He won, and then the second game, Tweety should have won. Like he missed a basic B&B.
Yeah, I think he dropped a 4-2-3 combo, which I mean, no one's dropped that since '87 when Reagan was president.
It's literally missing an extra point in football. Yeah. I was just like, my god! And so what should have been 1-1 was now 2-0 in Knicks' favor.
Well, Knicks made the criminal mistake. This is always a mistake, fellas. Don't do it. Don't pop off mid-set. It never works out. After that accident, basically, Tweety kind of messed it up. He pops off, right?
I think he knew he shouldn't have won that.
Yeah, well, exactly. But even then,
but I think he got complacent.
Yes.
I think that's what happened. It took him out of the focus. Like it felt like he already felt like he won.
Yeah.
And he took himself out of the match. He took himself out of the string of meta that they've been putting themselves through. And he just kind of went autopilot, and then the next thing he knew, it was 2-2.
Yeah,
and then it was just over. Like, and he was reeling, and like you could just see it, and you were just like, no.
That's one of those. It's like watching the Titanic sink. It's like it's going down, but you hope at some point they're gonna rewrite the ship, or it's gonna break in half, and one half's gonna sail off. It wasn't happening, man. They were. I mean, you knew it was bad when he's doing the teleports in the air, and Tweety's using Superman's down 2 to hit him out of the air, and Superman's down 2 ain't shit. It's not very good.
Yeah, he was reading it.
Yeah, totally in his head. And, I mean, Knicks did not make...
Tweety plays that match really well. I really liked watching him.
He did play it really well, and Knicks...
That's one of the things I like watching Tweety is, like, defensively, I don't think he gets a lot of props. Like, I'm not saying like he blocks everything, like he's got great reactions and he blocks everything, but the strategy that he implements defensively is very good. Like,
well, he knew he couldn't stand still against Darkseid.
I was more impressed when Knicks would get close to him and Tweety would just sit there ducking, like he didn't care. Like he would Knicks would do it's like little setups. You do like down one, in most of the Darkseid do like down one knee, down one knee meter burn or whatever. Like Knicks will do like down one, and he expects the knee, and he doesn't do it, and then he does a jump
stomp,
and then your first instinct, he's jumping, he's going for a cross up, and you stand, and like Tweety was just so composed, he's like, nope, I'm just gonna stay ducking. Fuck you.
Well, I think he knew that Knicks was betting on the stomp more than like the overhead, like the back. I think it's back one.
And to Nick's credit, he did adjust, and he started doing that, that high risk overhead that does a shit ton of damage.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's just fun to see that, because sometimes you'll play someone and you'll just be like, "What the fuck are you supposed to do about that?" And when you watch a high level player deal with it, you're just like, "Oh, why didn't I just fucking think like this person did? I'm so dumb."
I mean, that's like the story of Darkseid's life. Darkseid has swung from he's gonna kill the game good to man, he's not really that good. Like as far as like general thought of how he is in the meta.
He's high risk, high reward. Yeah.
But yeah, that showed where it's like, it is high risk, high reward. That where you saw him the highest reward against Sonic, but then also the risk of it against Tweety. Yeah. And Knicks he continued on and he played Scar and he was eliminated. He did not make top 8.
I don't think he recovered.
I don't think so. I don't know how you can.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's tough.
It's
You feel for the guy.
You do.
I hope he keeps. He's really good. Like I think he can put it all together. He's just got to forget about this shit. He's got to forget about like people saying he's a choke artist. He's got to forget. He just forget it and just keep playing. All he needs to just do is just keep doing what he's doing and just stop thinking about the past and just stop thinking about the last match and stop thinking about how I choked here and there. Dude, like your focus was on point before you were thinking about that shit. Just keep. He's fine. He just needs to keep working at it, and I'm sure it'll come together.
Tighten the bill of his "Make America Great Again" hat and get back on it. Don't look at his.
Does he really have a Does he really have a hat?
Don't look at Nick's Twitter, man. It's like a hive of Trump and poor as a state of mind. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Anyways, moving on. Another big upset was this guy Mystery Bot. Well, it might come up again. Mystery Bot beats Gurr with Brainiac in Pool D3 in Winners Finals.
Mystery Bot's good.
Mystery Bot was good. He did look good.
Surprised by that.
Yeah, he used Brainiac against Adam, and I mean the thing with Brainiac is especially with Adam, who isn't known for his great control of the air. If you can't do that, Brainiac's going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and there's at his dive kick that is, and there's not much you can do to stop it.
I think that's that's just one of those matchups that, Adam's just got to work. He's got to go to work.
Right.
And Mystery Bot, he might be the best Brainiac. There's a few good ones. Like Scar's got a good one.
They're all pockets.
Tekken Master's got a good one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though, like it's usually all
but
pocket
Mystery
Brainiac.
Bot is the first time I played him online. I think is when I went into like our Skype chat or whatever, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with Brainiac?"
I remember you were raging.
The big thing about it was like, Brainiac sucks, and I was like, "Bullshit, he's fucking good." And this dude just beat the living tar out of me with Brainiac. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Brainiac's good. I was surprised he lost. Who did Mystery Bot lose to?
He lost to
Honeybee. I think
it might be Honeybee. Yeah, because he was in Winners. He lost to Honeybee in Winners, and then I think who put him out?
I forgot who put him out.
Well, he definitely lost to Honeybee. I don't think it was that bad either. Like it wasn't like he didn't get deleted, but like he barely lost to Dab.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 3-2, very close.
I think like Mystery Bot's another one where it's kind of like the Buffalo thing. He's so close to just breaching that cream of the crop.
Well, you got to have the experience, Very few people, and I'll give credit to Tweety. When he went to his first tournament offline, he did get top 8 in MKX. That was a blow-up back in the day. So it can happen, but it's rare. Especially at Combo Breaker, where it is an event where everybody's there. It's more like you could do it at a smaller, maybe a regional event or something like that. But when it's everybody's there, it's really tough. The fatigue will get to you. Hours and hours of playing, just getting through these big pools of people. It's tough.
It's fun. It goes back to you just gotta love it.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Yeah, that's something too. You have to know that it's gonna be. Your feet are going to hurt. There might be enough chairs to sit down. Like, you'll barely get any fucking water. And you just have to know, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to like it. Otherwise, what's the point?
This was the most fun I had at a tournament in a while. And I just remember just saying, I'm just like, this is fun. Like, it's like what I was saying earlier. Sometimes you just get too wrapped up in your goals and your motivation. Like, in the end, you got to have fun.
Right.
So,
something else. So let's talk about Nyx. So Nyx beat Foxy early on, right? And Foxy was out in top 48 by Magic Man. Not a great showing for him. He got second at the Injustice Championship Series. Didn't have a good placing here. And the rumors you hear is that he's been playing more of Dragon Ball FighterZ because Injustice 2 is...
Are you talking about Dragon?
No, I'm talking about Foxy.
Oh, Foxy Grandpa.
Yeah, Foxy Grandpa. And apparently the rumor is he's playing more Dragon Ball because that game is more mentally stimulating and it's not dumb like Injustice 2. I have some thoughts on that.
Okay.
Number one, Dragon Ball is definitely the big money game right now as far as, like, there's a lot of people playing the pots are huge, right? That being said, there is no Pro Tour that'll give you money for placing top 8, right? Why?
Okay.
again, if you don't enjoy the game, you don't enjoy the game, right? But I have to question someone who hems and haws about being a professional, not getting paid as much as Foxy. What is he thinking?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so Foxy's one of those guys who always talks about how the pro players aren't paid enough. It's bullshit that top 16 doesn't get paid and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, well, so that's if you're a professional player, which by the way, what I mean by that is you have a team who hopefully pays you a salary, because otherwise you're not a professional. But I digress. Foxy will say, "Why doesn't top 16 get paid?" Blah blah blah. Here's the thing: if you are a professional and that's your gimmick, oh, I'm a professional. Oh, I'll play top tier. I don't care. Blah blah blah. Then what are you doing playing a money game and you're not trying your hardest? Are you a professional or are you not? Your thoughts?
I don't know what to think about that. So he's saying that he's not getting paid enough to play NRS games?
Well, so the idea is that the European guys, they always have to travel, right? A long ways to go to tournaments. And they don't break the bank, they lose money, right? So he's always one of those guys in favor of higher payouts and more payouts for more placing. So, like, instead of just paying the top 8, instead of just paying the top 3, which some tournaments, they don't really do that anymore, but they used to, pay, like, the top 16 and blah, blah, blah. But, again, my point is, if that's your mentality that you need to get paid, and you're playing the game that has probably some of the most money out there right now in Injustice 2, if I could be wrong, but then what are you doing?
I don't know. Beats me.
Yeah, I mean,
if he's all about the money, then he should be playing the game that has the most money.
And if it's too dumb, again, what professional?
I mean, that's just
if you're a professional, what do you care, right?
Injustice 2 is too dumb. Like, come on.
Well, because to me, I've never understood it's too dumb. Like, I can't play this. It's literally, it lowers my thought process. What does that say about you if you can't beat anybody?
What game? What? This dude played MK9. Injustice 1 and MKX and Injustice 2 is the breaking point? Come on.
Well, I think
he's just,
in his defense,
he's just tired.
I don't think he liked Injustice 1.
He just wants something new. He's just like, it's the same thing as before. It's like he wants a new mountain to climb. He's climbed the NRS mountain 3 or 4 times already. He wants to try dabs in something else. It's nothing to. It's just bad attitude.
Well, I mean, again, this is not set in stone. He could pick it back up. I'm just saying for now, you might want to look at the way he's doing things, Some other things that went on in pools. Katana Prime did not make it out of his pool. Is that expected, or do you think that's an upset?
I mean, who else? Who did he lose to?
I did not see the full thing. I just know he didn't make it out.
I don't know. I mean, he's pretty good. He uses, Harley and Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman, I think, yeah.
Harley's a weird character.
He lost his station, I don't know who that is, and Magic Man.
Magic Man's, he's good. I don't know who Station is, but let's see, Harley and Wonder Woman. I don't know. Harley's a weird character. It's like, she seems pretty good, but it's like there's like an offline stigma to where you can see her. What is it, forward to the overhead?
Well, I think,
and I don't know if that's true because I don't know.
I definitely don't think her strengths. She's not going to win based off of good mix-ups. It's going to be her jumps and if she can kind of keep you out, just keep running away and stuff like that. The problem is, does it actually add up to anything effective, which has yet to be seen yet, right? Mm-hmm. So and most people would probably argue Wonder Woman's probably better. But KP, again, he does a lot of things, and sometimes he'll place and sometimes he won't, and it's usually at the smaller tournaments. So I don't think it's that huge of an upset that he didn't make it, but still something to point out as you go through the pools,
He's also, he's commentating.
That's what I mean. He's doing other stuff,
Yeah.
Another one that didn't make it out of pools was Titanium Tigers. Do you know who that is?
I've heard of him.
So that's a guy who does really well in War of the Gods a lot of times. Again, did not make it out of his pool. Like I said, the online thing, you may know what you're talking about in the game, but it's a different set of skills when you go offline.
Who did he lose to, though?
He lost to Tweety.
I think he lost,
which is not bad.
I mean, I think
it's not bad.
Yeah,
and Nubcakes again, who's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing when you go to these tournaments. Sometimes you just you get
the bad draw.
You get the
bad draw. Luck. I've always said luck is a much bigger part of tournaments than people could ever understand.
Yeah, I don't take anything out of that. Right. Yeah, I'm sure if he goes to the next tournament, he'll be fine.
Yeah, again, it's something always. There's always next time.
That's another thing is like people. It is expensive to go to these tournaments, so people do put a lot of pressure on themselves.
They do.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the tournament where I have to do good, and that's kind of putting a little too much focus on. It's putting a little too much pressure on yourself.
Well, you keep saying on the goal, the goal.
Yeah. But yeah, if this is the end of the line, that's too much pressure.
Right. I mean, because it's all or nothing.
Too much focus on the goal, and you're freaking out.
Yeah, we've said when it's all or nothing. Then you of course you don't want to play again, right?
Everything's got to have like a happy medium. It's moderation.
Right. Punk didn't make it out of his pool. Now Punk's another one. For a long time, this is Punk from Echo Fox, like the Street Fighter player.
I mean, does it even matter?
Well, that's what I mean. Well, what I'm saying is it's kind of, usually for a long time it would be like get top 16 or 9th. But now, more recently, he's not really doing so well in Injustice 2 anymore. And I wonder if that's because it's now past the time where it's like, oh, well, you could just be, a good player in some other game and just play this game and
I mean, he just kind of derped around with Black Adam.
That's what I
right?
mean. Yeah. But that used to happen. Chris G used to place a lot, just derping around with whatever his character was. Long time ago.
I think the scene's too strong for just losing to derpy top tier now.
I agree. That was my point.
Especially that tournament was stacked as fuck. You could go in and derp and try and get out of pools.
Yeah. Another one. So we said we'd talk about him earlier, and we'll talk about it again. Dragon lost to Shark Teeth. Shark Teeth he wears the Tekken Master jersey, so I assume he's from that area. Maybe not. I don't actually know that, so I'm not going to put my stamp of approval.
It's his training partner, right?
It might be. So I don't actually know. But he lost to him. It was like Supergirl versus Black Adam, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dragon got to losers finals of that pool, and he DQ'd himself for what his sponsor said was health reasons. Now, if you don't know, about 3 days before he's supposed to fly out, Dragon did on Twitter post, and we saw pictures that he was in the hospital for really fast heartbeat, some other symptoms, but it turned out he was fine. Now, I'm not a doctor, as you may know. I'm a few credits shy of my Hippocratic Oath, but it sounds to me like he may have had some sort of anxiety. And the rumor I hear is that he's thinking about maybe not going to so many tournaments this year.
Well, he's been playing a lot of League of Legends lately, right?
Has he? I didn't know that.
I've heard that, yeah. I've heard, he's hit platinum rank in League of Legends or something.
Does that mean something? I don't know.
It's high. It's like one level before being a pro or something like that.
Ask me anything about League of Legends.
Right.
But it's interesting, is he? Do you think that maybe the pressure of having to perform again may be getting to him?
I think it's kind of like a Foxy thing. I think he's climbed the mountain. He's achieved all the achievement unlocks for the game, and he's just kind of looking at other ventures. And maybe in the disconnect, whenever you disconnect from the game, you always want to just try and hate on it just so you can justify the reason that you're not doing it. But it sounds like he's into other. I think that was a big theme, was people dividing their time. You got the people that has divided their time with other games like Dragon Ball or League of Legends. It's not working.
It's not. It's not.
Sonic didn't win. Dragon didn't win. Forever King's playing Dragon Ball. He didn't do shit. Theo didn't get in even top 8. Samij, I'm surprised actually, but most of these people that are dividing their time, the competition is getting good when Sonic Fox isn't winning.
That's true.
And he's dividing his time.
Now, to give props to Fox, he did win Dragon Ball FighterZ and got second in MK9. So it's like
his focus is definitely on Dragon Ball Fighter.
And even then, he still got third. So it's like not a blow up for sure. Yeah. So it's like
he's washed out.
Yeah, he is. I mean, third. Who gets third anymore? That's bullshit. But yeah, I mean, it could be that
when you pick up another game, it's not just something like you're doing on the side. Like you're literally doubling your workload.
You are, and I have to wonder though, because I have been wondering this about a lot. We mentioned at the top of the hour how like every guy who usually places top 8 didn't, and a lot of them have been guilty of kind of splitting their time. And I feel like I could understand, when you want to play something else, like you're kind of burnt out, you want to play what everyone else is playing, because everyone wants to, right? I'm sure everyone's played a little bit of Street Fighter V or whatever the hot game is, But I have to wonder, again, if you're a professional, and by that I mean, again, if you have that big sponsorship, they'll send you out to tournaments, blah, blah, blah. Do you feel like you kind of have a responsibility to kind of keep up with the game and make sure that you're not slipping? Because, because to me, it always felt like the mentality for some of those guys was, well, there's no big money tournaments going on, so I don't have to care. Your thoughts?
Well, this one was a big money
tournament.
Well,
before, I mean, like leading up to it, like the practicing and stuff like that. Because not everyone was traveling, some people were, some people weren't.
I think people really like Dragon Ball.
I mean, they do. Who doesn't?
I mean, to be fair, like if the Turtles weren't coming out for Injustice 2, I probably would have been playing Dragon Ball. Like, it's fucking Dragon Ball, man. Dragon Ball is the psychology of fighting games put in a cartoon. Is what it is.
You think?
Like when you watch Dragon Ball and the things that they're saying while they're fighting is literally the exact same things that you're telling yourself while you're playing like an intense match. And like so many people can relate to Dragon Ball just because of that. And it's so fucking awesome that they finally got a fucking fighting game that's Dragon Ball because everyone just relates to it on that level. So I think it's hard for a lot of these players to just not fucking play Dragon Ball. So I get it. Their times are divided. Their emotions are divided. They're like, oh my god, Dragon Ball, fighting game. I love fighting games. I love Dragon Ball. It's almost like an emotional obligation. You got to. It's like me paying homage to this. I have to play the fucking Turtles.
Homage?
Like, yeah.
Homage.
Whatever.
Man.
But that's what it is. What are you, the Nazi pronunciation police? Nazi pronunciation police
the Nazi term?
Over here.
Jeez.
What? Everyone throws around the Nazi term.
Nazi? This is getting uncomfortable. Where's Nix? Nix knows about calling people Nazis. First of all, I graduated with a degree in education for English, so you can hold that. I am a grammar Nazi, but I think you're right. I do think there is a little bit of leeway because Dragon Ball FighterZ is a big, a dream sort of title for a lot of people, right? So I guess I could understand that, but I think what I'm trying to really get at is I don't think you can just I do think some of them, I'm not going to say all of them. I'm not going to say what I know what they're thinking, but I feel like a lot of them kind of felt like, well, I may not be practicing, but I could probably still place. And maybe that was the problem.
You divide your time, you're not going to win.
Right.
Unless you're a freak like Sonic Fox.
That's what I mean. Like a real savant, like Chris G or, any of the people that came
you got to be a prodigy in order to divide your time and still do good in your game. It's extremely hard.
It is.
Everyone thinks they can do it until they try. And then they're just like, holy shit, this is fucking hard. Like, I have to not have a job. I have to not have... It's like you already have to not have a life just to be good at one game.
Right.
And then to be good at 2 games, like, forget it. Forget it. If you pick a game that you like and stick with it. It's because if you can either be a jack of two or three trades or a master of none.
Well said.
Or a master of one and, not shit in anything else.
Mm.
Like, unless you're a freak.
Yeah.
Like Sonic.
So
that's pretty fucking hard to do. I thought it was interesting that there was all the Batman players didn't do shit.
Yeah, Batman didn't have a great showing.
What is that? Like, Batman's dumb. He's dumb. I just played one earlier today and I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. I fucking hate Batman.
Well, Batman's weird.
Like,
Again, he's one of those characters that, again, was going to kill the game levels of good as far as, like, the rhetoric. And then it was like, he's kind of whatever now.
There's just a few matchups where there's just enough matchups for him to it's just like, I guess he's fine. He's Batman. And then it's like all the other matchups, it's like, he's Batman, he's Bruce Wayne. But I thought it was surprising, like, Forever King didn't do anything, Nubcakes didn't do anything, Silver Ride. I mean, he mainly just used Hellboy.
He mainly used Hellboy, and then Foxy just kind of, nothing.
Foxy's playing Dragon Ball, like, that's surprising.
Yeah, it might be something, I don't know, because really, again, we haven't really had a big-scale tournament, so, like, they changed the way Batman, like, the hit advantage of his jump 2, and they changed the time you have after grapple to do something to kind of lessen the effect of making him guess with his jump 2 right after he hits you stunned. And now, but people figured out a different one.
Yeah, I got hit by it.
Where you call the bat after doing like one, and then do 1-2 bat, and then it's really like, I don't even know what side it hits on.
There's literally a point where the jump 2 hits you in front, and then like the jab or the 2-2-3, whatever the fuck they want to do, it hits you in the back.
Right.
So it's literally like it's almost a near on block. Like it's so fucking stupid. It's like you can't even fucking push block. It's so hard.
Yeah, I mean you just have to basically hold down after you block and pray for the best, right?
It's very Firestorm-esque. So it was surprising to not see Batman. I just don't think the Batman players, besides Nubcakes, they just weren't. They were all divided with Dragon Ball.
It could be.
King was divided. Well, Silver Eye was divided with fucking Hellboy.
Yeah.
Foxy was divided, and I think Nubcakes, I think did pretty good.
He
I
did.
think
he did all right.
He just kind of. I loved the match with him and Gurr. That was one of the best matches, I thought.
Well, that was.
You saw a lot of matchup knowledge in those two, in between those two, and that was a really good match. Like he was parrying Adam, like when he was in trait.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. He was push blocking. Like it was a really good set. But I think that's another one of those matchups where Batman kind of has to work his way in, like kind of like Dr. Fate. He's got the matchups where Batman's got to work his way in, like for some reason, is like a 5-5.
Well, I think just because a lot of characters, if they could throw back a projectile, it's not bad. But when he does it, he loses ground. That's like one of the few times that move doing that like really hurts him. I think he's got to lose ground to really throw something back.
No, I mean some matchups you just got to work your way in. Shit.
I mean, and ultimately his mobility outside of is not really that great. Like he doesn't walk that fast. His dash is okay. So he's just kind of got to...
I don't fucking want to hear that shit. I'm playing with Leonardo.
Well, I mean, yeah, but still.
I'm playing with Leonardo going up against Dr. Fates all over the place.
Well, now, speaking of that, so you played King Gambler. And it was close. It was close. It was on... Throw this in your Google machine if you're at home. Slips versus King Gambler. This is a close match. At one point he was up 2-1, but you made the comeback. Very close match. A lot of zoning, a lot of I would have thrown my controller moments. How bad I'm getting zoned. And then King Gambler in top 48 beats White Boy and eliminates him. So
yeah,
how about that?
He's good.
Yeah, White Boy had just placed second at Texas Showdown. Not too long
ago.
He
almost beat Silver Eye. It was down to the wire.
Well, the Silver Eye match was really close.
Yeah. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
If he would have put Silver Eye in losers that early, whew.
I think White Boy has shown a lot of improvement as far as because before because he early on he won CEO, he was on fire, right? And then it kind of cooled off, and I think he was having a lot of issues with consistency as far as because the Scarecrow does a lot of damage, right? Like he doesn't lack for damage, but I think sometimes you can get so into the idea of doing that fear blast, the geese Rapukin that he does, that you do that as autopilot so much that I think he was missing out on damage because he wouldn't do like down one to the chain hook and the back three. He'd do down one to that blast. And it's like that's not doing nothing for you, especially when you're fighting characters that can do that much. But he's finally...
I love it when Scarecrows are doing that.
Yeah, you want that, right? But he cleaned it up, and he started using that. And he started using that traumatize, that character power thing that he has. where he does like the blast and you fall over, and he started using that really effectively. So he's been doing a lot better, but I've heard that he's looking to kind of get out of the game. He might do a few more tournaments, but then he might step down. So I think if that's his mentality, I think he's probably okay with how he placed. Top 48's not bad at all, especially 222 people, remember. So that's something. Now let's talk about, so we'll run down the top 8 real quick. Of course, Tweety got first. Gross got second.
Dude, Gross.
Yeah, Gross was looking
Dude,
good.
What was that?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I remember I was like, Gross is in winners? I was laughing. I was like, what? Because I think, what was it, final round? He just didn't look that good. He didn't look sharp. He looked kind of sloppy. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with him. I think it was final round.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing for a while. So the last time I saw him do really good was at the Injustice. So he did this crazy marathon thing, right, where he was at one tournament to get points for the Injustice championship series, and then he flew. He was at the last chance qualifier for the Injustice, the E-League thing, and then he immediately flew to the Injustice Pro Series. Didn't even wait a day, right, to play in both tournaments. It was crazy. And he still did pretty well. I think he got third at the Injustice Pro Series finals, and then he did okay at the Injustice Championship Series. But, I mean, Gross, to me, a lot of times it looks like he's kind of playing a really good character, but that's kind of it. Not to say that he's not good, but
that's what it felt like at final round. It just looked like he was disheveled about Green Lantern, so he's just got this cookie cutter Black Adam.
Right, and I feel like he's been doing that for a while, and it works. He gets some results, but I don't know if it's it really kind of turns up, what he's good at and stuff like that. But as he went into the top 8, he started using Green Lantern more. And I mean, aside from
he crushed it, dude. He beat fucking Sonic Fox.
Yeah,
he beat fucking Rewind. And he beat fucking Silver Eye.
Yeah, well, he was using Adam for a lot of those, and I think, again, it finally clicked.
And everyone knows how to fight against Black Adam.
Well,
I get it. He's maybe top 5, probably top 5, whatever. Everyone knows what Black Adam's going to do. So to take a character that's, it's Black Adam's a good character, but I mean, to take him and understand how to reach level 3 or 4 versus every character. I mean, it's not like Black Adam doesn't have tough matchups too. So
yeah, I mean,
I thought that was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it finally in that top 8, it finally clicked. That third gear we were talking about. He just kind of.
He was going nuts.
He was, yeah, and he ended up
beating Rewind and Sonic Fox.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And he almost fucking beat Theo.
Yeah.
Or not Theo. I'm sorry.
Tweety.
Fucking Tweety.
It was close. Yeah, it was close.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. If someone told me Gross is going to do that before this, I would have laughed. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, that's another testament of it's awesome to just see people work, and you can just see the massive improvement.
And not to undersell Gross too much, he does have an Evo medal for the last Injustice 2 top, so it's not like
he's good. Yeah, he's good. He just looked a little disheveled the last time we saw him.
Right, but clearly it didn't wear him down.
Yeah, he's back. He don't give a fuck.
So Sonic got third.
I thought a big blow up was Samij losing to Happy Pal.
Yeah, so Happy Pal is European player.
Oui. She's from France, right?
I think so. Oui. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? And Sacre Bleu.
Did you say Sacre Bleu?
Sacre Bleu. That's what they say.
Yes.
Did you know in France, catcalling is illegal?
It's illegal?
You get fined.
How do you find someone for that?
I guess they call the police.
Do they immediately just blow a whistle and there's a guy there writing up the ticket?
Man, you can't even flirt these days. God damn.
Well, I don't know about that.
Crazy.
I mean, you're harassing these ladies out there. Come on.
Harassing?
That's harassment, man.
It's just evolution. This is biology.
What?
This is what we do. We're men. We're supposed to hit on girls.
You're a man.
Girls
you're a manly
man. Yay or nay.
Yay or nay?
And now society is going to infringe on the biological evolution of nature?
What are you, Jordan Peterson? What are you doing? What is this?
Just saying, it's a little weird to have that law. I'm glad he's playing.
So Happy
Probably be fine indoors playing Injustice 2 because he can't hit on girls anymore.
I guess when Happy Pal apparently is not getting fined for catcalling, as Slips thinks, he's doing pretty good in Injustice. So at the Injustice Championship Series, he qualified in the European version of it, and he got to the finals, and he did okay. I think he almost beat Theo, and then he did get a scalp. I can't remember who it was, but he beat someone good. He plays Flash, right? Mm-hmm. And he pulled it together against Samij. Who?
I think he beat Scar too.
I think he did. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he beat Samij in winners.
He said, "Fuck your freedom fries. They were French fries."
Freedom fries.
Yeah, remember freedom fries?
Yeah, I do. I just never thought I'd hear it again. So he beat.
What was the point of that?
Well, you got to reclaim. When something's French,
Why did we hate the French? Oh, because they didn't want us to go into Iraq. Okay, I'm starting to remember. All right, never mind.
I don't think that's true.
That was like 10 years ago or something.
That is... All right, so let's move away from history. I don't think that's our bit. So Happy Pal lost in winners to Biohazard. And then he lost to Gun Show in losers. Mm-hmm. So he had a pretty good run.
That's pretty good.
Samij, it was 3-2. It was close. It wasn't like a blowout or anything, but he did beat him. And Samij...
Who else did Samij lose to?
Rewind.
That's tough.
Well, that's another one. That one gets played out a lot in War of the Gods, actually.
Right.
So
and usually Samij wins, right?
Yeah, but maybe lately it's been going back and forth. I haven't kept up as much, but maybe that could be it.
You think he's bitter about Catwoman changes?
I've never heard the man speak.
That's true.
So I can't say. To me, he's just an amorphous blob that is a good fighting game player.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, so Samij ends up getting, I think, 9th. And so Gun Show got 4th.
Yeah, pretty
Gun
good.
Show hasn't shown up to an offline tournament, I think, since the Clinton administration.
Wow.
But he played a little bit. I remember seeing him in MKX and stuff like that, and occasionally. I think he's from Canada. But everyone was talking about his Firestorm. And you see him a lot. I think sometimes in War of the Gods and stuff like that. And yeah, he's getting 4th.
That's out of nowhere.
That's pretty good. And he beat Tekken. He beat Tekken Master. He beat Happy Pal. He beat Scar. Beat Silverai.
That's really good.
He only lost to Fox in losers. I think he was in losers to start the top 48, and he just powered through. Yeah.
Who put him in losers?
Let's see. Maybe he wasn't in losers to start. No, he was in winners. He lost to Gross. So he lost to Gross and Sonic.
Wow. Damn, Gross.
Yeah. Could be
Where is Gross from? Like Dominican Republic?
Well, he's from the Dominican Republic, but he's lived in Florida for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Silverai.
Good at baseball.
Biohazard. Did you say he's good at baseball?
I bet you he's really good at baseball.
That's insanely racist. We can't say that.
That's paying homage to the traditions of this country.
That was a better pronunciation, but that still wasn't perfect. But I still say, a very famous ESPN radio host was thrown off the air for saying Dominicans were good at baseball. I'll have you know.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
So Colin Cowherd, known douche, was...
Known douche?
He's a huge douche. But well, to be fair, he said it a little more than that. He was talking about how good Dominicans were at baseball, and he's like, it's funny that they're so good when their education is so poor. Like, they're dumb. Maybe baseball's not a sport where, you have to be smart to play. And immediately they were like, you can't. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, who knows how good their education system is.
And then his apology was like, look, I shouldn't have said that, but look at the stats. He didn't reference any stats. He just said, look at the stats. And he got thrown off the air.
Well, that's dumb. That's dumb. You don't get good at, I wasn't that fucking good at school. School is just one level. Exactly. School is just a measure of one's intelligence. There's so many different other ways of intelligence. That's crazy to think that. Yeah,
right.
He deserves it. That's just dumb.
So what you're saying is you challenge Gross to the batting cages.
Everyone's smart. It's just which can that person find that genius in the niche that they need to get into. Everyone's smart in their own way.
I just don't know about this.
Yeah, I think so. It's just so what if they don't have a good education system? They can't do fucking math. Like, most of this shit in baseball is just basic fucking math. Just playing the odds. Like, it's just like a fighting game. Just play the fucking odds. It's not hard to figure out.
So you think you could be the next big baseball star if you were younger?
If I was not limited by my physical physique, yeah.
So if you grew like 5 inches.
Dude, when you watch baseball, you can see it. You see the math that they're doing. How many counts, like, go to a full count? A lot of them go to a full count because the fucking pitcher knows that he's got, let's say the count's like 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitcher knows he's got 2 balls he can throw that aren't strikes. That the batter can just fucking just give a swing away and give him an out. But he'll throw 2 balls, and then the batter knows that he's going to throw 2 balls because he knows he's got 2 pitches to work with, and then you use your reactions to see if he actually does throw something over the plate. Like, you see it. It's everyone's doing the math. Everyone's doing the math.
So
it's in fighting games.
So if you're good at math, you can be good at baseball.
It's math, yeah. It's if you know basic math, you can be good at anything.
So it's basically if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That's the logic.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't know about that. That would require me to watch baseball and imagine doing that. All in all, here's what I know. Gross is from the Dominican Republic, and he's good at Injustice 2. He got second.
He's probably good at baseball.
That is a Slips quote. I do not endorse that. So tied for 5th was Silver Eye and Biohazard. So Silver Eye has had a little, speaking of striking out, he's had a little bit of bad luck as far as trying to get into like a placing. He'll always get 9th, he'll always get top 16 or whatever, but he just, for sometimes, he just can't seem to put it together into a full, and he'll get War of the Gods top 8s and stuff like that, but at offline majors, the luck never seems to go in his favor. This time, it totally did. He ended up getting 5th, using mainly Hellboy, a little bit of Batman. And then Biohazard. So Biohazard, I would say at this point, where in other games like Injustice 1 and MKX, he could do really good or he could do whatever. He's been pretty consistent in Injustice 2. Aside from missing a few big tournaments, I would say 5th or 7th is usually a pretty typical spot for him.
He's good.
Now you have to.
He's another one I like watching play because you can see how much he loves it.
Yeah.
Like he almost cares too much about how he does versus how much fun he's having. Like he's on that border of just like, dude, like you're having a good time, like, chill.
Because you gotta wonder, because like I said, he usually is at 5th or 7th, but rarely do you ever see him get past that. Now I think he won like a European tournament early on, and I think that's about it as far as like winning a big tournament or maybe placing in the top 3. So I wonder what is holding him back from getting a little bit farther. Because we show he's not really. It's not like a character thing. It's not like he's not willing to switch around. He's not getting counterpicked out there.
I think he really loves Bane.
You think?
I think he really loves him. And then, to his credit, like he's just fucking Starfire took Tweety to the limit.
That's what I mean. The Tweety match was really close.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, like
I expected his Bane to do better than his Starfire. So that was actually really interesting. I don't know. I mean, he maybe he's going to get even better. Like, who knows? Like, he's still young. Shit. I'm sure he's still figuring shit out.
And just to say, throw that one in your Google machine. Biohazard versus Tweety in the top 8, and Winner's top 8.
That was
wild.
Man,
that was, again, last hit, last round, last match.
That was wild.
It was crazy. It was crazy. You know what's funny about Starfire, too, is one of the things leading up to this tournament, Tekken Master was going off and on about how Starfire was killing the game. You know, her hot girl charge was like it was ST Akuma on steroids, just like, can't stop this character. And, like, I always feel like that's Tekken Master, like, he will pick, like, top characters, but he always is complaining, like, all the time. I wonder if there's something to that, you know.
What's the point? There's just no point. You just gotta. There's not going to be a game that you play where there's not a stupid character. Just tough it out.
Because I mean, a lot of times you'll see, and this isn't everybody, so I'm not trying to paint everybody with the same brush, but it's like they'll be talking about like, oh, like the patch will come out, right, and then it'll be like, well, why didn't you hit this character who's now better because those characters got nerfed? And it's like they can't see in the future. They can't preemptively nerf characters because you think they might be good. You know, it's an ecosystem. It's not like a chartered list that you can just swap the positions are. It's an economy, and economies go up and down. There's changes in the market and stuff like that, and that's what happens in fighting games. And Starfire now is probably getting a better rub than a lot of characters. Because remember, again, Starfire went from... Foxy said she was Deadshot 2.0 when she first came out. The original Deadshot 2.0. Then she was so bad she might as well have been deleted. Like, we should have taken the Starfire slot out and put in anybody, because she shouldn't have been in the game. She was so bad. That's how people talked.
That's insane.
And then now...
She's never bad.
And now again, like, Tekken Master's like, my God, like, she's Cabal with breasts. She's Cabal... where her hair is on fire and not her skin. You know, it's just like... And what's the point of that talk? I just don't feel like it's pertinent to anything.
I thought the changes to her were fine. The one that I didn't like was the backwalk speed. I was like,
they changed her backwalk speed.
That was a killer. Like, I thought the grab, like the 4-2 grab was fine. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's super high risk.
It is,
so and she doesn't
really open people up a lot. So it's just one thing, you know, every now and again she gets like, 8% or something, just to toss you to the other side, you know.
Her wickets have always been good. Yeah. Like, I thought the biggest one was that backwalk speed. I was like, oh, like I was so, as soon as I looked at it and then I picked Leonardo.
Oh, I mean, well, you're playing Leonardo. That's probably
and she's walking backwards. I'm like, oh, no.
Like, you see Firestorm walking backwards and you're like, I want to cry.
No. Yeah, it's tough. I mean... The zoners that have that good backwalk speed are tough. Yeah. I think Dr. Fate's got a really good one, too.
Yeah, Dr. Fate is like that, absolutely. So, tied for 7th were Scar and Rewind. Rewind, again, this is his first offline top 8. You know, again, he always hasn't been able to sew it up quite offline, but this time he finally did. Beat some good players, you know, got 7th. No shame in it. I think he did very well for himself. I think he should be happy. And then Scar, you know, Scar is kind of interesting. In this game, I would say he's kind of, I don't know if struggled is the right word, but he hasn't been, like in MKX, he was undoubtedly one of the best players, right? Like he was constantly in top 3s. That dude was good. And then in Injustice 2, you can see it's kind of like...
This game is too slow for Scar.
I think it's too slow.
Yeah, I mean, he's really fucking good. Like, it doesn't matter because he's really fucking good. But I think he has more fun with the fast-paced, like, constant button-pushing stuff. Like, you saw in MK9, like, Scarlet, MKX, he was a stud in that game.
He was a stud. I mean, he was a stud in the tournament, in the game, at the same event.
Yeah. I think in Injustice 2's a little more slower pace. It caters to a lot of, like, a little more patience, I think. So, I'm surprised he doesn't use, like, a Hellboy or something like that.
He was using Brainiac, which seems like a pretty good fit.
That seems like a scarred character. Like, and he's just constantly doing stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Red Hood's another one. Well, I think Red Hood kind of gets zoned out by some characters. But
remember Red Hood? Remember when Red Hood was like killing the game good, and then no one even's like he's bad. They just don't talk about him, like he doesn't exist.
He's good now.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think he was a little much in the beginning. They made the perfect amount of changes.
That Honda headbutt movie was like. Man,
that was ridiculous.
God, man, yeah.
That was ridiculous. It was literally a pressure move.
Yeah, I mean...
It was like, he would just do it, and then you had to guess if he was going to meter burn. Like, that was a good change that they made.
I say Honda headbutt kind of
They did A+ for the changes they made to him.
I say Honda headbutt kind of as a joke. I mean, it literally was as good as, like, Honda's headbutt in ST, I'm just doing it.
It was Honda's headbutt combined with the speed of the startup of Blanca Ball.
Yeah, with no charge. It's a headbutt with no charge, and you could punish it, but it was super hard, and the meter burn was super fast after it.
Yeah.
Was the meter burn an overhead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So again, you're instinctively standing up, and then you're trying to hit him. It wasn't happening. You weren't punishing.
You needed, like, if you could hold back and you had a long range move with I think it was Superman. I remember. I could always, like, just back 2 options to, like, kind of...
or, like, just Green Lantern back 1, something like that.
Yeah, but if you didn't have that, it was like, oh, my God.
Right.
You're just guessing of if he's going to do meter burn or not.
So, that was the top 8. I mean, it was an incredible top 8. Like I said, even the storylines alone, like, the fact that most of those guys in it, save for, like, Sonic and Biohazard, are guys that don't normally get top 8. the blow up of Tekken Master, it might be the worst blow up of all time.
All time?
I mean, let's think about it. You guys in that dumbass 2012 final round.
That was the biggest one.
Fun fact, the first time I ever met Slips was at final round 2012. I saw him play a set against a then very young and upstart Tommy Waffles, Smoke vs. Scorpion, and he's laying up on the bed. Man, I gotta retire. I can't play this fucking game. Like, Scorpion sucks.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
That was bad. God, what is worse? I mean, does like KDZ's whole Injustice career count?
I thought the Carl 13-0 was probably the worst.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think. I mean, there's like YouTube videos about the history of that.
Is there a point where you ever feel bad for the guy? Like, he's so bodied.
He's so lost. It's a shame.
Like, he was talking all that shit about Dragon Ball FighterZ, like, Sonic's not good, I'll body him, etc., etc. And not only does Sonic, Sonic wins the damn tournament, but Theo outplaced Carl in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and he's always been like, hell, NRS players are not good. Like, they can't play any other game. It's just, man, like, just comedy at this point, man.
His ego, like, he still hasn't reined in his ego.
It's been like 15 years.
It's tough, man. Like, once you get that, no one really prepares you for success. And he had such great early success early on. And then when a new game comes out, I've said it before. When a new game comes out, the veterans of fighting games are sometimes the most toxic because they're so entitled. And they think that everything that they've learned in one game should translate to the next. And when it doesn't happen, they want to blame the game or they want to blame the fucking company that made it or whatever. And those are dangerous. And you just get caught in that loop sometimes of just not understanding why you're not as good at this game. And so you just start playing the blame game and you just don't look at yourself and you just don't be real with yourself. That's something that I went through. Like, when my heyday in Tekken, dude, I was the shit in Tekken, man. But then, like, when I look back on it, it took me a long fucking time to be good at Tekken.
That was Tekken Tag 1.
This was Tekken Tag 1.
Tekken Tag 1, right? Yeah.
It took a year, like, just to get good. I mean, the first time I went and played, my friend Sean in Conquerable, he beat me 50-0. Like, he destroyed me. And I thought I was the shit. I was the best at them all. I was best at them all.
You just dated yourself. I was the best at them all.
Yeah. And, I played him. He beat the shit out of me. Then, like, Tony Techonomics would beat the shit out of me. T5 would, pretty much everybody in St. Louis was just beating for about a year. And then it was just, and I didn't even care. That was the best part. It was just, I don't care. I'm just going to play, and I'm just going to learn how to deal with this. I'm going to add this. Like, it was very small successes every week, I guess. I was like, all right, well, I know I can improve this here. And then, you see a YouTube video of high-level play, and you'd be like, oh, you can see that. Like, you just implement one little thing after the other. You become very outcome independent. When you're playing for fun, you're outcome independent. You don't care about winning and losing. You're just playing. And I think that's where a lot of the veterans forget. They just forget how much fun they were having to begin with and how much they were learning while they were having fun. And then once you forget about the fun, the learning goes out the window as well. And that's like the biggest thing.
You come from Tekken, the era of guys like Jop, who, like, their gimmick now is how much they hate the new games and they're scrubby and they're not worth playing and stuff like that.
Well, don't worry. I still have my old man screaming at Cloud side of me.
I was worried it was gone.
No,
I was worried you would completely turn into a Zen master.
No. I could definitely go in on Tekken about some things the changes that have gone through that franchise that I don't like and do like. Like, I like that it's huge now. Like, that's great. But I definitely like the old school ones better. But that's another story for another day.
So, that was Injustice 2. You didn't enter MK9 or MKX, did you?
I did not.
No, okay. There is a horrible rumor.
I wasn't dividing my time.
Okay, I see. You weren't dividing your time between these nostalgia titles.
Focus.
Great.
Laser focus.
There is a terrible rumor that for the first time ever this weekend that you watched The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you guys
I've
don't
never
know,
seen it.
Slips pounds his chest about his Italian background. So you'd think he's the son of Rocky Balboa and Mario. Like, he's a mustache away from being Mario. Like, the dude, talking about pizza. You're talking about The Sopranos.
Rome, we made roads.
Okay, you made roads.
Us and the Greeks pretty much made democracy.
Okay, like, you see what I mean? And he's never seen The Godfather.
Well, I live The Godfather. That's my life.
You live The Godfather? What part where Sonny gets shot? Getting bodied in that 5v5?
I don't need to see a movie about my family.
I see.
No, I actually did see it for the first time. It was really good.
It is good.
I didn't think... it's so old. It's from the 70s. I was just like, it probably sucks.
Does that mean it was bad and it's old?
It's a bad mentality, yeah.
I mean, because here's the thing that never changes.
I had a millennial thinking towards Godfather, yeah.
Drama and good characters never goes out of style, man. Godfather was good then, it's good now.
It was so good because they just showed you one example of how smart Michael Corleone is. They just gave you one example, and then the rest of the movie, how they offed all those other people. They didn't go into the detail. Like, the first time they did, they went into the detail. They're like, oh, you put the gun in the bathroom, and this is what you do. You do this, you do that. And they're like, oh, we'll play it off like that, like you're disgruntled and you're going to switch sides, or, whatever it was. And they gave that example, and then, every time that they offed someone else, you didn't hear that conversation. It was just assumed that they were a step ahead of everyone. And they were. It was awesome. It was really good.
I think it's also, it's great. It's like, you see how a guy, like, who is, like, kind of meek, doesn't want to be in that life, and he, like, gets corrupted by, like, the power that he gets, It's like...
Well, I think he's smart as fuck.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's like he wants to show that off so much that he's willing to go into his family that he didn't want to be a part of.
And they were really smart and making sure, like, he had a military background.
Right.
So it's like instant credibility of strategic thinking and stuff like that. So it's just like, that was really
It's like
good.
he wasn't a thug, he wasn't like his brother, Sonny.
Right.
He was a thug, the dude is what
he was out in the world learning about the world,
right,
and how to be smart and stuff. I never actually knew, like, how, like, real talk, close my family was to the mob. Like, literally, no, I'm serious. Really? A year ago, my mom was we were watching Roots. And yeah, Roots. Right. And we were talking about, like, just roots in our family and everything, and my mom was just like, your grandma, so my uncle had his wife, they were going through, like, an ugly divorce, and my uncle's wife's dad was like threatened to, like, beat the shit out of him or kill him. I don't know. There was some crazy drama going on, and my grandma got a hold of the mob pretty much. What? And she was like, yeah, this guy's being a problem. Can you take care of it? And the next thing we knew, like, the father was, like, gone for, like, years. Like, no one knew what the hell happened. This last year my mom was telling me this. I was like, what? I was like, we got connections with the mom. I was like, who did grandma call? I was like, I don't know. Shit. Right, exactly. I was like, that's fucking cool. I actually need to follow up on that.
Slips losing in the 5v5 is like when Luca Brasi is getting choked.
Yeah, poor Luca Brasi.
Yeah, he sleeps with the fishes, man.
What a shame. He was just doing his thing.
It's good that watching the horrific, the horrific details and history of the African slave trade made you realize that your family's called in hits. But let's talk about something a little bit lighter. So there was 2 nostalgia tournaments along with Injustice 2.
The guy lived. The father lived.
Oh, thank God. They only broke his legs.
He went back. He was gone for a while.
Great. There's a happy ending, guys. He came back after he
we're
was
not that
gone
bad
for years.
We're fine. Italians are friendly people. We make pizza.
Wow, I don't even know what to say. So
That's another reason Italians are the shit. What are you guys gonna do without pizza?
Wow, I don't even know what to say. I think I'm just gonna move on. So there's 2 nostalgia tournaments at Combo Breaker to go along with Injustice 2, MK9 and MKX. MK9 had 74 people, which is honestly, if you think about like in the heyday of MK9, that is pretty close to what they'd get most of the time. So that's a pretty impressive number. MKX gets about 123, which again, in its heyday, that was probably a pretty comparable.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So MK9 was just a day-long tournament. Since it didn't have a lot of entrants. You saw the return of like. So let's look at the top 8. It was Kerbo Licious, who I thought was dead, won the tournament. He used Cabal and Johnny Cage. Looked like he never stopped playing, honestly.
I heard that he doesn't. I heard he didn't stop playing.
Yeah.
I heard they have like a little crew.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
That they still play.
Yeah. So he beat Sonic. Now
Sonic,
to Sonic's credit, Sonic did reset the bracket, but he did not prevail in the end. He got second.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he is. He was playing Sonya and Melina, and
makes me just upset.
Your boy, Tommy Waffles, third with Smoke.
Waffles is the stud at that game.
Yeah.
Of all the people I played during the life of that game, I couldn't fuck with Waffles the most.
It's easy to forget, but he did win a big major in MK9. He won final round 2013.
That was like the peak of the difficulty, as far as not difficulty, but the peak of like competitiveness.
The best play, like the best play, was really probably
everything
late
was figured out.
Late 2012 to mostly 2013. Yeah.
Right.
Dizzy getting fourth.
Yeah.
It's Dizzy.
It was great seeing like Waffles,
Sunk, yeah, Sunk. So third, fourth, and fifth was all GGA guys. Sunk got fifth.
It was great seeing the GGA guys, like, because you knew like the MK9 was where a lot of them like kind of spawned.
Yeah, and sometimes peaked.
You knew they had that that mental attachment towards MK9. Like MK9 helped mold some of their minds, so you knew they had like a deep. Like if someone was like, "We're holding a Tekken Tag 1 revival tournament," I'd be like, I'm getting the PS2 out and practicing right now.
Well, yeah, 16-Bit said it on commentary where he said that we may not, the game may have aged. We may not like it as much as we might have when we played it in 2011. But for a lot of us, this is where we made like old friendships. It's where we met people for the first time. Some of us, it's our very first competitive game we were good at. There's a lot of memories there.
The NRS community was formed around MK9.
Absolutely. So we saw Dizzy get fourth. He was looking pretty good.
He looked good.
Yeah, he faltered a little bit against Kerbo, but he looked great.
Kerbo's never. He's good.
Playing, yeah. Dizzy now, designer at NRS actually. So he's doing quite well. Sunk got fifth. Sunk played Sonic. How much do you think Sunk hated shaking Sonic's hand?
What do you mean?
Well, Sonic's wearing the big fursuit.
Yeah.
Sunk, kind of a prickly gentleman, to say the least.
Prickly?
A little bit.
I'm sure I think deep down Sunk's a nice guy.
Okay.
I think it's a shell. Like, he's a big badass.
Right.
But I think that just proves it, though. Like, he kind of cowers in the face of pure adversity.
in the face of furrydom, like he's just dead.
It's like Sunk's good. Like he's good when when there's no pressure, and he's pretty fucking good. It's just like, and his attitude is very like Donald, like he said it, prickly. He's pretty much like a Donald Trump type.
Whoa.
He's yeah, like he's all like raw.
So
like,
him and Nix were getting along, you say? Is what you're
saying. Yeah. Like he's in full self control. Like stop your crying. Like just get it done. Very matter of fact. Like I don't know. I'm losing the words, but you'd think like he'd carry that attitude. Like that's badass attitude. Like no one can get to him. Like he's But you think that would show through, like while he's playing, like these players and everything. But it's like like that part of him just like comes out of it's like, I'm not really that good.
Wow.
But he could be. I'm not. I'm saying he could be good.
All
I'm
right.
just saying.
Well, I mean, he got 5th. I mean, hey, that's something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no real shame losing to Sonic Fox, honestly. Who put him in losers?
Sonic, I think.
Oh, okay.
Sunk was in winners top 8, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But when he was playing Sonic Fox, like, he was dropping shit constantly.
I mean, so was everyone, to be fair. This is, for most of the competitors, I would say this is a game they haven't played in like 4 or 5 years. So you expected a little bit of slop to go along with it. You know, I didn't expect it to be like the pinnacle of high-level play.
Sure.
Like that. Yeah. He lost to Sonic, and then he lost to Waffles.
Oh, well, he's good.
Yeah.
Sunk's good. See, I was right.
Yeah. Also tied for 5th, a guy named Biggs. May or may not be related to Wedge from Star Wars. Never heard of him. He's playing Sonya. He looked pretty good. I think that's all I can really say about him. I never heard of him.
Probably watched that Rio video.
Oh, like that one that came out like a couple weeks ago. Sonya.
Like that.
I mean, there was like 3 or 4 Sonyas in the top 8, so there you go.
Yeah.
Comp Bros got 7th, using mainly Sonya again. Comp Bros is he's kind of like a journeyman player. He's decent, like he'll get like, you know, maybe top 32 or top 16.
Inconsistent. He's good but inconsistent.
Yeah, he's from like the Michigan, Detroit area, I think. The Midwest, sort of. So, and then Dab got 7th as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dab's another one where it's like he'll have moments, but like again, never like finding that gear to where he's truly great. I wonder what's up with
He's
that.
a feel emotional player.
I think so.
And he's good. He's good at it. There's different types of players. Like there's players that are kind of based on feel, and like they'll go in with a game plan, but they're more into the adaptation during it. And then there's players who have a game plan that's very well fleshed out and very flowchart like.
I see.
And I think Dab's like very. I mean, I'm just fucking speculating. Who fucking knows? I've never even played the dude in my life. But just judging from what watching him play, like he can make some amazing reads, and you're just like, holy shit, and like just perfectly executed, just like hard reads that were just godlike, and he'll also have like a solid game plan, and I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you shake him emotionally, if he comes across a player, I think that has a really fleshed out game plan, and he can't find his way through it, he can lose to that, I think. But when it comes to just pure emotion, like he's one of the best.
I think I can agree with that. And then real quick, I'll run through MKX top 8. It was Killer Shinnok won the thing using Tremor. Looked like he never stopped playing. Looked incredibly good. I think aside from like a sort of hiccup in Game 1 and Winners Finals, he ran away with the thing, in my opinion.
Him and Scar was really good.
Oh, yeah. So Scar got 2nd, using Triborg a lot and Demo Sonya, and Rewind got 3rd. So he fared a little bit better in MKX. Tekken Master got 4th. It's fun. Tekken Master actually placed over Tweety, who Tweety kind of was thumping his chest about being good at MKX. Mm-hmm. Not a massive blow-up since it is a nostalgia title, but it is kind of funny that Tekken Master got top 8 and Tweety didn't. But I would argue Tweety won that.
I think Tweety would rather just win Injustice 2.
I agree. It's just something funny to point out. Waz got 5th. Slips, what's your favorite Waz match?
Waz?
I don't know. He's from New South Wales, which is in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't heard of the dude.
From the Down Under?
From the Down Under. Maybe he knows about
kangaroos and shit.
Kangaroos, Vegemite, crocodile.
What the hell? Vegemite?
You don't know about Vegemite?
Dude, come on.
So Vegemite.
You're just trying to sound like a smart person.
Vegemite's a thing.
No one knows what the hell you're talking about.
Are you serious? It's like
Vegemite?
It's like a paste thing.
I say kangaroo. You don't even. You just take it to the maximum obscure.
How is that
extreme?
Everyone. Okay, so it's first of all.
You could have said koala.
Hey, hang on.
You could have said dingo.
It is a.
You go straight to. You said you could have said coral reef.
Coral
you go
reef.
To Vegemite.
So Vegemite, first of all, is a very well-known thing in the NRS community because were you at Evo 2014? I don't think so.
I don't know.
So Evo 2014, there was these two guys from Australia. It was, God, I wish I could remember their name. I feel kind of bad now. Anyway, these two dudes who were kind of well known in the Australian community were approaching everybody on the floor to take what was called the Vegemite challenge. And what they were doing, they had Vegemite is like, it's like butter, but it's like deep dark black. It's like a yeast extract. Like you spray it on bread and stuff like that, right? It's disgusting, but they love it.
Sounds gross.
It is. So they were asking people to take a knife, dip it in, and then take a bite, and then they would record their reactions, right? And they were spamming it. Like it was panic mode. And what was the other guy? I can't remember the other guy's name, but they were spamming the Vegemite thing. They were asking. I think they tried to ask Ed Boon, and Ed Boon no-sold them because he was there.
Yeah, Ed Boon was like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, so Vegemite got over huge. And that's all I know about Australia. I know about Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I know about...
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. Rest in peace.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah. I know about Nathan Jones, the Colossus of Bogo Road.
I don't know what the hell that is.
He is a wrestler who was in prison, and he's very tall. That's about it. He was in Troy. Did you see Troy?
Yes.
Yeah, he was in that movie.
He's the big dude in Troy?
He's the big dude in Troy. He's in that movie. Did you ever see that Jet Li movie, Fearless?
Oh, yeah.
He's the big wrestler that he fights.
He's in a couple of those Tony Jaa movies,
He
too.
is, yeah.
That dude's a beast.
Yeah.
He's in jail?
He was. No, he was in prison for a long time, like early in his life. And then he got out and he went to WWE and he sucked. But then they found out, he's good at, like, stunts. So they put him in, like, action movies, and that's where he's good.
Dude, that dude's awesome.
Yeah. He was so bad that he was in a WrestleMania match, and they took him out of it at the last second because they were like, he's too bad.
Really?
But he's doing well for himself. So that's about all I know about Australia. And then that was Waz, who got fifth. The other tied for fifth was Cusco, who I believe is from, like, the Texas area. He plays covert ops.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good playing covert ops. He beat Foxy. Foxy got seventh, as did a guy named Damaja. Never heard of him.
Damaja is from Chicago. Jeremiah was telling me about him. Yeah, he was from Chicago. He was big on MKX, and then Injustice 2 came out. He didn't like it, so he just stuck to playing MKX online.
I guess it showed. There you go.
And he only lost to the guy that won the tournament, Killer Shinnok.
Yeah, Killer Shinnok, yeah.
And I think maybe Scar, like, he did really good.
Yeah.
Like, he was super proud of himself. Good for him.
Yeah, there you go. That's about it for MKX. I would say it was MKX, It was not too... it was weird. I don't think Sonic entered this one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see him in there.
I don't blame him.
Whoa. So that's what I was going to get at next. Like, we didn't...
I was bad at that game.
Yeah, I mean,
that game's too fast. Like,
I didn't
how
play
Scar
it myself.
probably likes that game because it's so fast. I don't like that game because it's so fast.
Well, I thought so. To me, the big flaw of it was that I thought it was fast. I think it's fine that it's fast paced, but I don't think it's okay about how bad. Like, I don't know about defensive options is really what I want to say, but how bad. Like, you can't when you get up, you can't really get up against some character. Like the armor, like you have armor as wake up, right? And that's just not as effective as like an invulnerable move.
Like you need a barometer just to have the threat of wake up. Yeah.
And even sometimes there's characters that attack so fast that it's not like Tremor and stuff like that. It's like they do that forward one too. It's going to break armor a lot of times.
Right.
And
some of them don't even care about armor.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was really hard to get up, and then like there were so many like Tremor's forward one too. Another one. It's just so like he goes so far on the second hit. It's like I can't even like backdash. I remember Kotal,
top heavy on offense.
Kotal Khan, Kotal Khan, and he's not even an example of like a great character. He's just like pretty good, but like he could do that back one string with the elbow, the end of the overhead, and then he'd make you guess at the end with the overhead low that was like super hard to punish. Mm-hmm. It's just like, man, this is annoying. Like I can't do anything.
It was super top heavy on mobility and super top heavy on offense, and whoever got to run that train first was probably going to ride home.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was too fast for me. It was the swings and momentum were just too harsh for me to be like I'm going to go to tournaments on a regular basis. It was I don't know how the hell people play consistently.
Yeah, I mean, because they did.
So
I mean, it wasn't random. I mean, the people placed, and it was the typical, people. So,
and that just kind of goes to prove, like, no matter how a game plays, like, there's always going to be top players that are just going to just take it to another level.
Yeah, I mean
that kind of goes back to the Foxy Grandpa thing where he's saying Injustice 2 is simplistic. Like, the fucking DOA is as simplistic as it gets, and you're still seeing consistency.
Right.
So, there's literal paper, rock, scissors championships that have consistent winners. So, even the most simplest of the simple is still not simple enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fact. Just no game that anyone has ever said is random was actually random. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's people are too good. I think that
the cream rises.
Yes, exactly. I mean, back in the day when it was like a hodgepodge of who was actually good, and more so based on like what did you know? Like I in Tekken, for example, I think if you didn't know how to like backdash properly, you would just roll over dudes, probably, right?
Oh yeah,
they weren't
you
even.
had a huge advantage.
Exactly. So it's like now there's not that knowledge gap as much anymore, and you just sometimes those guys will be good eventually,
People figure it out. You just get the basic math going, like the Dominicans, and then you'll figure it out.
What is with the Dominicans?
It's a joke.
All right.
Joking.
Now MK9. So MK9 went over really well. They had Mustard and Ketchup commentate the top 8, which I thought was I would have put 16-bit. I feel like he would have brought some flavor because Ketchup and Mustard are nice, but ultimately it is the same guy talking twice because they're twin. Like it's not as much that they're only brothers; they're twins. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's like it's the same guy talking. They are talking to each other, but it's like you would have liked a little bit of that flavor. He did commentate the pools with DMS because Tom Brady was scheduled and mysteriously vanished.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
How awesome would that have been?
That would have been fun. It would have been fun. So MK9, a lot of people now are trying to push for it to come back at majors after the success of this one, and I don't know. I feel like, how do I put this? I'm glad that people like it because I mean it's cool. I mean, people like as you said, people have a strong emotional attachment to that game, right? But I don't want it to come back and it's like because the problem with MK9 a lot of times is like. This was, when men were men, and this is like footsies, and those other games are like crap. And I would hate for it to come back and that became the mentality. Like, we're playing the man's game.
That's not going to happen.
I hope not, but there's a lot of people that talk like that. It's really weird.
No.
I don't understand.
There was in Tekken, there was Tekken Tag.
And there was Tekken 4,
1.
which sucked.
And then Tekken 4 was so fucking bad. Like, people were like, let's just go back to fucking Tekken Tag. And I was one of them. I was like, this is not the fucking game I signed up for. This Tekken 4 shit is pure, unadulterated filth. Warm trash. Did not want to fucking play it. It was everything I hated. And I was like, this whole community, our love was with Tekken Tag. And there was actually a big revival for Tekken Tag 1.
Yeah, because it was at EVO for a long time.
Yeah, that was kind of during my heyday too. Is when people were like all getting back into Tekken Tag. I was just like, I'm fucking here. Let's fucking do this shit. I mean, and even that didn't last that long. It lasted maybe a year, and then the next Tekken came out, and then it was over. Like, people will play MK9, sure. I'm sure they could have another couple turns here. It's not gonna last, because there's only going to be end up being the same people showing up over and over.
Well, I think that's
and then
the trap.
Eventually, they'll be like, "There's no money in this."
It's the trap of those nostalgia things. It's like when Marvel 2 fell out of the tournament scene. They would they wouldn't do like a whole tournament, but they would have like a big money match between two of the old top guys. And I think to me that's the best you're going to be able to do because I don't think you could sustain. Because I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people will be interested in playing that game because it's rough. You know what I mean? Like MK9 and Injustice 1, and for a little bit MKX, I think it's much better than those two. But they're really it's like NRS was trying to get their foothold in how to really make a fighting game that was really good. and they struggled. Like MK9, like there's so many like bugs that are just not even before you even get to play. There's so many like the input bug, and the where the armor doesn't come out but the meter goes, and there's no buffer system, so like poking out of pressure is insane, and then the pokes are unsafe on block. It's just like there's a lot of stuff like that, the jank of it, and then like Johnny Cage pressure, which you normally should be able to poke out of, like you just can't. It's and it's
the random frame advantage on crouch blocking or something.
Yeah, like again, just a lot of that stuff, and because then people will be like, well, but then anti-airs were good, and now they're not good. And my argument would be, well, no, the problem was everyone had the same jump normal, and then you diversified, and that's what happens. Some people have good jump ins and some people don't, and they're harder to anti-air and stuff like that.
I could see, like, in Injustice 1, some characters had bad anti-air.
I don't even think in Injustice 1 they really had it down yet.
Yeah, and then MKX, like, it's not like they didn't have good anti-air. It was just, like, you can't fucking react.
Too much to focus on.
The run was so fucking fast, and then how many people had air mobility? Like, a shit ton.
Yeah.
So, that just wasn't a good example of NRS having great anti-air just because the nature of that game. But Injustice 2...
I think it's pretty good.
It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, there's characters that can jump around on you, but like, I don't know. Like, you play the Turtles. They have a really good jump 3, but it's like, it's not like, oh man, I can't ever hit him out of the air if he's up. And you have a dive kick, so it's like... Yeah, so, I don't know.
It's not that big a deal.
Right. With MK9, I think it's sometimes like any old game, you get kind of caught up in maybe I don't win as much, or maybe I don't, for whatever reason.
They've already learned it. It's a game they know.
Yeah.
It's a game they grew up with you. It's a great game. Dude, Mortal Kombat sucked for a long time.
I played
the
shit out of those games.
And people, and the marketing that they did for MK9 was fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
they did a whole reboot. Like, it was great. The story, I still think MK9 is like the best storyline of all the NRS games they've made. Like, that story was so fucking good. It was a great reboot. It was I could play it right now. It was so well done.
I even remember like the lame, the funny like dialogue and stuff like that. I remember all that. Like, it's very memorable.
A great blend of the nostalgia mixed with new school, and it was like back to the 2D environment. It was like, thank fucking God. It felt like Mortal Kombat again, because Mortal Kombat hadn't felt like Mortal Kombat since fucking Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of like the bloat they had in the later days. Like a ton of characters that. There's very few MK characters that I actually dislike. I think they're all kind of cool, but in those 3D games, like as far as them standing out and stuff like that, where they use like the real martial arts and stuff like that, I felt like it all kind of blended together. It was like,
it wasn't the same.
Yeah, like who wants to see like Reptile do actual martial arts?
Right.
I don't. I would rather see him do that weird like hop overhead thing that he had and shoot the spit and do all that stuff.
I want to see Reptile be Reptile.
Yeah, I don't want to see like Noob Saibot doing like practice martial arts strikes. I want to see him throw his own body at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, MK9, I played it a lot. Absolutely. I just think it's a competitive game. It has its flaws, but I think it's a great game.
Oh yeah. I think it's fine. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, to me, the only thing I don't want them to do, like, so at EVO 2014, which again you were not there for, they had an MK9 revival tournament there that Sonic ended up winning. Actually, funny story. So the reason why it took forever, like it was during, so Injustice finished on Saturday, and they decided to do this MK9 revival tournament, and like, for some reason, it was like, it wasn't even like 3 out of 5. It was like best 4 out of 8. Or something like, yeah, like they were like, oh yeah, let's just do like, whoever's the best is going to win. Let's do 4 out of 8. I don't know why they were thinking that, but they did. So it took hours and hours and hours, and people were getting drunk, weren't even paying attention. There were a ton of DQs because it took too damn long. And then the funniest part was at the very end, we got down to like the top 4 or whatever, and they kicked us out of the ballroom because we were the only people there. And we look up at the screen at the front, and there's like the Tekken 7 logo before it was revealed, and we were like, We were there so long, we accidentally saw Tekken 7.
Holy
back
shit.
in 2014. But yeah, I feel like there's some times where it's just like I bet even this event, I didn't look at the pools, but I bet there were a lot of DQs, just people signed up and like, then I don't really want to play it, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. And that game also, like, the online's so bad.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
I just stopped playing online because it made me worse.
It's worth noting, second half of MKXL, basically, the online was dog shit. Unplayable, almost. Too much lag.
You mean the first half of MKX?
Yeah, well, I mean, I said before before MKXL.
Oh, yeah.
When it was...
Oh, it was horrible.
Input delay-based netcode. Yeah, you just couldn't... It just wasn't...
Thank God they fixed that.
Oh,
God, I probably wouldn't even be playing fucking Injustice 2.
I mean,
there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd be playing the game.
Well, it's super impressive, too, because it went from, like, literally it might having, like, the worst online of modern games to probably the best, if not close.
One of the best. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
It's been an impressive turnaround.
Like, whenever I go to an offline tournament now, it takes me, like, one good session, then I'm good. Like, and it's great, like, whenever I'm playing offline, because, like, the things that I couldn't react to, I can react to now, and I remember I was super worried about Atrocitus, because I was just like, God, I can never see that goddamn forward three.
And you beat, like, 2 of them, right?
Yeah, and when I was playing, like, I was like, holy shit, I can fucking see forward 3 coming, like, this is great. So, I mean, and before that, it was like 10 times worse. Like, you couldn't even fucking play. It was all reads.
Yeah, I remember.
The fact that it's just like, it takes like something like that's like the new, like, oh, this is online, like it's a matter of like a few frames difference, and then it's like once you're at that point, you're fine. Like, I don't get mad if I get hit by Atrocitus forward 3. I'm just like, maybe I could have blocked that offline. Like, it is what it is. Like,
yeah, I think so.
The instances where I had to make a read or I have to make against are much or fewer in between.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've seen there's so many new faces. I think primarily because it's easier to be able to be better online and translate that to offline than ever.
That's all I fucking do. That's all I do. Shit.
Yeah.
I got top 25. That's all I do is fucking play online.
Damn, hold that.
I mean, anyone can do it. I mean, Twee's showing it. I mean, people are showing it. Like, you can literally just play online.
Yeah, it's fat.
I literally just play randoms. I'll play Red Raptor like once a week, and I just sit and I just play randoms.
Damn,
it's fun.
So that online is going to translate obviously to their next game, which is rumored to be announced imminently. We got E3 coming up, I believe, this weekend. And, this maybe next week, and it's a lot of people saying, this is the time for Mortal Kombat 11 to be announced. Fits in usually about a year in. That's when they announce the next game. I remember MK9 in 2012, they announced Injustice at E3. MKX was at the E3 in 2013, and it's usually how it goes. And,
cool.
A lot of people have criticized the fact that, the game will be out for 2 years, and then the next game comes out, and everyone kind of stops playing the one, and they move on to the next.
Yeah, that sucks. Because they're getting better and better at these games, at making them.
I agree. I think a lot of times, like for me, I never thought of it as like that big a deal because it was like, yeah, MK9 I liked a lot, but man, competitively there was a lot to be desired.
I was glad it was dead.
Yeah, and then Injustice 1 came out and you're like, man, there's some things that are good.
I was glad Injustice 1 was dead.
Yeah, and then at the end it was like, I really hopefully...
I was glad when MKX was dead.
Right.
But this is like the first time it's like, man, can we keep playing this game a little bit longer? Can you guys give it another year?
Well,
work on MK11 another year.
One of the big things too is that every time that there's been a new game for the previous 3 games, it's like a complete reinvention of the wheel.
Mortal Kombat, they seem to always do something totally different, and it's harder to get right.
Yeah, like MK9 and MK11 MK9 and MKX share like some animation similarities, and some characters sometimes have similar moves, but it's all completely different. The game in no way plays like MK9.
They reinvent it every time.
They did, yeah.
And that's very hard to balance.
Right.
And I mean, even Injustice, a legacy game, like I said earlier, like even that had like some crazy shit going on early.
Definitely.
And the first year of like NRS games is kind of like who can learn the brokest shit the fastest. And with MK11, it's probably, I don't know, they're going to try and reinvent it, and it's probably going to be that, and it's going to be tough.
I mean, yeah.
And then they'll fix things, and I'm sure it'll end up being great. It's like, I mean, even MKXL turned out to be pretty decent in the end.
It just took
but
a while.
That first year, and it's just like that first year. It's like I'm almost like, God, I wish I could play Injustice instead for that first year. Until like all the crazy shit gets taken care of.
Well, because you actually have the benefit of being like you were brought in as a QA tester, I think, on Injustice and MKX, right? Or maybe even Injustice 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
for
like
all three of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think for you, it's like you're trying to get used to these.
Yeah, it's not a knock on them or anything.
No,
it's just hard.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm just saying, like, even you, like, Eric, I'm trying to find the bugs in this game, but it's completely different. I got to learn what's good, maybe even how to find a bug.
Yeah, like people don't understand the process of making a game. The very last thing that you do is balance.
Right.
Like, first of all, you just got to make sure that they have all the moves and they're fucking functioning. And then you got to figure out, like, okay, how much damage should this do? And then, like, and that's literally, like, and then there's a deadline. Like, you got to get the fucking game out. It's been announced. Like, people are waiting.
Right.
And you got to get it out. Like, you got to get it done, and you do the best you fucking can, but there's a fucking deadline. Like, Warner Brothers wants that fucking money. Shit. So, I mean, it's not easy, and then, you know, they'll patch it and everything will be fine, but I mean, it's just not fucking easy. What game does well? Like, Street Fighter 5 ain't doing shit. Like, fucking Tekken 7 had Infinite. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's not an NRS problem.
No,
like, this is fucking every game.
Well, and if
every
you think
new
about
game that comes out is a fucking it's got some shit.
The process too of like DLC, for example, it's a problem in any game. Like the anime, like the ArcSys games, like Guilty Gear and stuff. Oh, their DLC.
Oh yeah, those are fucking. People think NRS games are fucking broken.
Well, their DLC will come out and it's like, oh man, and you know what? Really, it probably is the guys who were trying to test them. We didn't have time.
It's, dude, like you get burnt out too. Like it's not easy.
I'll bet. Yeah.
You can only think of so many fucking scenarios, and then you're just like, I don't know. Like it's hard, dude. It really is.
Well, I mean, the most famous example is that early on you were like Martian Manhunter. I don't think he was that big a deal, and Injustice 1, and you know you turned out wrong. But it's like he wasn't like Aquaman, where it was like, okay, Aquaman's broke, obviously. Like look at him. Martian, there was a few things that you had to play around with to be really good, but once you did, it was like, man, he was.
Oh yeah, he got really overwhelming.
Right, but I think those are the kind of characters where it's like it's really hard because.
The DLC's really hard.
Yeah, because you probably just don't have the time, you know.
It's the time, and typically those QA departments, like some of them have contractors, and when the DLC's out, like they lose a lot of them.
Right.
So and it's just kind of like a skeleton crew.
So you're leaving people who just they don't.
Yeah, the
many
manpower isn't the same,
et cetera, et cetera. You know.
And I think there's a truth to be said that, you know, DLC, they do want them to be good so people buy them. Like, I mean, I don't think there's any shame in saying that. Like, I don't know if that's true, but would you be surprised if they were just like, we're going to make sure they're good so people buy them?
Well, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if that was an edict, like they wanted them to, but my bigger surprise would be like, okay, but how do you guarantee they're good? Because remember, in MKX, we'd had, like, Jason come out, and he wasn't no
trash,
good.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you have, like, you know, Tremor, who was really good, and Tanya, who was like, oh my god, really good.
Right.
And Predator, who was pretty damn good. I mean, Alien, like, it's like, but there's just ones that come out and they're like, What's that?
Lobo wasn't.
Yeah, Lobo, like, it was Lobo, and then Batgirl, and Zod, and Scorpion, and you're like, whoa. And then it was like Zatanna.
Right.
Zatanna's okay.
Right.
And Lobo had to get buffed to be really good. So
yeah, it's whatever.
To me, it's just a hit and miss thing. Sometimes and
it is what it is.
And for Injustice 2, I mean, is there any of the DLC characters that's like, my god, I can't handle this?
That's the thing. Like, they're getting better at it every year.
Like, you know, people are talking about Starfire now, but it's only after she's been out for a while, and there's been some changes. And no one's like, Adams, you know, oh my god.
Donatello sucks. Raphael sucks.
Yeah. Some people say.
Yeah, who knows? Fuck it.
Black Mana is considered good, but nobody really uses him either, so who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I think the cycle is just only. It's only bad, I think, when it's like, okay, the game has a lot of flaws. I hope let's move on. Whereas Injustice 2, it's like now it's the second, it's the only legacy game they've released, and it sounds like they've kind of nailed the formula, as good as it's going to get. And now, like, obviously, it doesn't have to end. Like,
I just get annoyed.
Yeah, I can see
like,
that.
oh, MKX, it was so good. This Injustice 2 shit. I remember MKX, like, that was so good. I'm like, what?
Well, there's definitely people put on like the what do they call the rose-colored glasses.
I'm like when Injustice 3 gets announced or at the tail end of MK11, I better be hearing a lot of fucking praise for Injustice 2. This is what I better hear a fucking Injustice 2 revival tournament or some shit.
I mean, I think
this is their best. This is, I think, easily their best game.
The nice thing about Injustice is it's probably going to be such a different niche than like the next MK that it'll probably be like there's people that only like Injustice and people that don't like the new MK. Like there's a bigger chance of that, I think.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you got a point where it's like it's annoying that like finally they've nailed one good game and then because the community is so small. That's the problem too. It's not like with like
Injustice 2 is their best game.
Yeah,
like by far.
I think mechanically, yes. I think like absolutely like. There's not as many like, oh, this part doesn't work.
I love the archetypes. Everyone plays a little different. God, there's so much to like about it. Like, all the characters none of them play the same. It's so cool. They don't, like, some characters are hit, like, throw strike on how to open you up. Some characters are chip damage based. Some characters are 50-50. It's just very refresh. Like every character is very refreshing, and I like that. There's hardcore zoners that aren't too broken, not anymore. There's hardcore rushdown that's like not too broken because you can keep them out most of the time. It's like any other fucking game, like Zangief or some shit. The spectrum is it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, I would say
bad matchups, but you can still overcome them. It's not like, oh my god, this is unwinnable. Like, there's probably a couple of them. I don't know. I don't even know what they are off the top of my head. But the fact that I can't even think of one off the top of my head is like a really, really good sign.
I mean, I would say like the only thing, like Injustice has, like to me, it'll be a forever flaw. It's not like it's ever going to change. But like how long the stages are versus how bad like forward walk speed tends to be, it just it naturally. Walking backwards or waiting for someone to like the mobility is not good enough to where it's like, oh, I can catch up to you and really catch you off guard like that. It's always going to favor characters that are really good at walking back and doing something. Always, that's going to be the best archetype. Like Dr. Fate, Starfire, Black Adam, characters like that. They're always going to be good. I don't really think
they're going to have the advantage.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like I don't know. Like for example, if people want to nerf Black Adam, I don't know what more you could do.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. He's been nerfed enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can do whatever you want at this point. He's going to be good.
If Black Adam is the poster boy of broken, then they've nailed it.
Yeah, like, remember Supergirl was going to kill the game for a while? Like, my God, she was too good.
I never understood the hoopla with her.
I mean, everyone was like, my God, like, she's going to kill the game. What are we going to do? But it's like, yeah, she does what Injustice is good at. But was she really, like, I feel like there's enough loopholes or, like, safety nets in a lot of the characters' designs where it's like, okay, they can't be too bad.
They've done a really good job making sure that most characters have a weakness.
Like, we're not going to have a Batgirl, like, plus 30 on hit, string into overhead low. That's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, Firestorm's close, but it's like, okay, but he doesn't add up to Batgirl. Like,
and I think they know it, too.
Yeah.
It's just a little late.
Well, I was talking about this with a friend because, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection came out, right? And it has ST and Third Strike and all those classic games. And people love those and talk about how much, those are so much better than Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, whatever. But I think there's something to be said about, those games, they work kind of on accident. The fact that people like to play them is sort of an accident because the games are wacky. Like, DJ's Crouching Medium Punch has no hurt box on it, and it's +9 on block, and you can just walk up and do it. But they don't care that's a thing. Like when they were making it, they didn't look at that and go, oh, maybe we should adjust this. Maybe it's fine. They didn't even think about it. It just the game came out. They had to make a game in 6 months, and it came out. Third Strike's the same way. Capcom vs. SNK 2 is the same way. So now you have And to be fair, NRS was like this, I would argue, up until like a little bit of Injustice 1, mainly in MKX, but like MK9, I don't think they cared about any of that crap.
No.
And to be fair, why would you? You know, it's not something I would imagine those designers really think about. But now you have a lot more designers, especially in Street Fighter V too, where they have the agency to look at, okay, how can we tweak the things that are more applicable to high-level play? The frame data, the way characters block things, knockback on moves, the hit advantage on moves. And they're doing a lot better at that. And so when you at least know what's happening like that, and you have people that care about what the frame data looks like, you get better games. Now, you may not like that they're, a lot of people complain about, that these games had the freedom, and now these new games, they don't. And there's, I think, because people like jank. I don't know, people just like, even though it's wacky, it's like comforting. They're like, it has character. Like MK9. MK9 definitely has character. I don't know if it's all good, but it has its own little charm to it. So I can understand that. But I think with Injustice 2, you have guys that are committed to checking that there's safety, safety nets there that make sure that things like the Batgirl Vortex and Injustice 1 and, like the crazy Tanya style stuff of MKX just isn't. It's like they take out all the bad stuff because people care and pay attention to, like, oh, Batman has this vortex. Where before they'd be like, what are you talking about? Now it's like they got people.
I think they have a good blend now of. I think like Paulo, like he's really good about making sure the game's fun.
Yes,
both Paulo and John, their focus, and I applaud them for this, is just making sure it's fun, making sure the characters are cool, making sure the moves look cool, making sure the game's fun, making sure the shit feels good, making sure shit's hype. And that's the first and foremost thing, and I think they're spot on that. And then I think they've got the tournament people in there now to kind of rein in like some of the crazy shit that can happen for doing that.
When making stuff fun, because that happens. It's
you gotta have fun first.
When you look
at Street Fighter V. They are so focused on fucking making the perfect fucking designs that it's not fucking fun.
I agree. I think what they did, it's kind of genius in a way. Like, I kind of applaud Street Fighter V for how brazen it is, and like, okay, we'll make some things universal. Like, everyone's medium is +3, and everyone's sweep is -12, and all this stuff. Like, that's all calculated. And then they'll be like, okay, most characters can't play outside of this certain range. You have to be there.
Right.
But we're going to make dashes pretty good. It's very meticulously crafted, which is kind of like you can kind of give props because it's like, wow, you put a lot of thought into this. I just don't know if it's any fun.
Right.
Because there is so much like... And also, but then the problem is they play with... Okay, so we didn't want...
But they're putting all this...
in their head.
Intelligence in an old system, though. And, like, Street Fighter V wasn't designed like that. Street Fighter in general, not 5, but Street Fighter wasn't really made like that. It was made as, like, a kind of a sandbox game. And then they're trying to put all these rules and regulations in it. And it's I don't know.
Well, I think they also, in trying to make it a competitive fighter, they tried to be like, okay, so this will be good, but it won't be that good. And this will be good, but it won't be that good. Like, you can knock someone down, but you have, like, 3 different ways to get up. So it
makes all the characters play so similar.
It does, and then I also think it adds a little bit of chaos to it, because when everything's not that good, it gets really good? Dashing up and jumping a lot. Because if everything's not that good, that's probably the best option because it yields the highest reward. And then what you have then is you drop in characters like for example, in Street Fighter V right now, considered one of the best characters is Guile, right? Mm-hmm. And Guile's just Guile-ass Guile. Like, he's still doing 2 special moves, and that's it. But the problem is he's fit into that Street Fighter V game where everyone's normals kind of play at one range, that his fireballs are now OD.
Right.
And his anti-air being flash kick and down charge and so good. Normally it's just like, well, yeah, so you don't jump at him, but a lot of people can get around his sonic boom. Now you can't. It's difficult.
Right.
So now he's kind of really good at the game, kind of by accident. So, like, again, it's too meticulously designed, and then you put one piece in and it ruins. It's like making a card house, and then you put in this one card in the wrong spot, and the whole thing falls over. Yeah, it's meticulously crafted, whereas, MKX is more like a sandcastle. Yeah, one big part might fall out, but all you gotta do is put the sand back in the bucket and make it again, right? Mm-hmm. Not that hard.
I like the games that are more focused on fun, and will fucking let the players figure it out.
I mean, I've always said, like, what other game are there going to be characters like Scarecrow, like Bane, like Adam? Look at Adam's character power. What is that?
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Crazy. Every character is so different.
Yeah,
that's kind of goes back to what I was saying about why I like the old Tekken games better. It's because the creativity in the older game, like Tekken Tag 1, was so high, and then as the Tekken games, more of them came, they kind of do like the Street Fighter thing, with like, oh, we want high entry level, or we want to make sure everyone can play it, so we want to make it easy to understand. But it was just like, there were so many cool things, so many cool designs they were working on, from Tekken 3 to Tekken Tag, that were just so original, and they were just deviated. Like, there were just so many different forms of offense in like Tekken Tag. And then now it's all just mid-low. That's all it ever is. Like, the main guessing game is mid-low. It's almost not like, even throws are almost like, unless you're just king. Like, yeah. It's just mid-low. It's so fucking boring. I'm surprised at how well it's doing. I'm glad it's doing good, because I mean, I still love Tekken. It's always gonna have a place in my heart. But I was like, in Tekken Tag, they had Huang. He had no lows really. All he had was these kicks, right? And the big thing was getting in his right foot forward stance, and he had this big ass fucking giant ass kick. And if you blocked it high, he would turn you to the side, and you get like a free shot. Like, that is how he opened you up, was you blocking a high attack that would cause so much guard stun that he got free shit. I think he's still got like one of those, and it's just like a shenanigan now. But that, you could tell, like, that was the design they were going for.
Right. Well, I mean, and when you got like the crush system in, like that, those types of offense probably aren't as good anymore.
Yeah, that too. But even still, like, so that was cool. And then you had Yoshimitsu. You could tell it was the same thing. It was just like he was doing like unblockable sword stuff, and a lot of the guessing game was like, okay, in order to stop this unblockable from coming, I've got to do like a normal, but I got to interrupt it. That if I try and interrupt it, then he's going to hit me with something that's going to be quicker, and I'm going to get counter hit. Like, that was cool. I was like, man, what a great idea. Like, that shit's gone. What's another good example? There was just so much, like, and then you did have characters that were based on throws, like, like Julia had like a throw that literally the animation was that you were supposed to break it with right punch, but it was actually a double breaker. It was just like, cool, that's pretty cool. So this character is designed to throw, like, they are made to throw you. And then there was another one I was thinking of that was then you have like Bruce, who's got almost pretty much no lows at all. He's got like none of his highest damaging low is a 12 damage, which is almost nothing. It's like standard low. And then he had no throws. He had just had a left breaker and a right breaker. He didn't even have a double breaker. But his defense was amazing. Like, he could block, punish, anything. Like, and he had a really good counter hit game.
And didn't he have like a knee that was super fast, and that was what like you used to like punish a bunch of stuff? Like an uppercut, like.
He had a really good uppercut. I mean, he could, a lot of characters, he could sit back and just guess right. And it was awesome. Like, what a cool design. Like, he just tries to keep you out, and even if you did things that were unpunishable, he had like this punch low, and the low was just super fucking annoying, and it was unpunishable. It did hardly any damage, but it's like, if you kept guessing wrong, he's just gonna keep fucking doing it, and if you ducked, then he was gonna hit you with something that hit even harder. Then you had Julia. She was fucking cool. She was based on counter hit. That was so fucking cool. Like I said, she was all about throw, but
yeah. Well, I think
she was designed for counter hit. She has an 8-frame jab that fucking did half-life on counter hit, and then they turned her into a basic fucking mid-low guessing game character.
Party crasher.
I was like, God damn, man! I was like, they made every fucking character the fucking same.
Well, so I think that's what happens when also you realize that you had balance issues in one game, so you try to edge towards homogeneity where it's like every character is kind of, you know, it's not like anyone can do anything too crazy, but at the same time, it's obvious that they don't really care that some characters will always be like. It seems like, as far as I can tell, like Asuka will never be good unless they change her core design, and they won't. So she's just gonna be whatever forever until they change something. And same with the Mishimas; they're always gonna be good, right?
I just like creativity.
Well, yeah,
the lack of creativity is just lazy to me. I hate it. Well, we'll make a brand new character. What's he gonna do? Same thing as everyone else, just mid-low.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's fucking great.
I think some people are afraid about taking those risks when it's like, okay, well, we don't want to play havoc with the game when there's a lot of people playing for money and there's tournaments all the time. I can understand why it's a little frustrating, like, to take risks and then it doesn't work out, but you kind of have to, I think, or you have to do it, but do it like I mean, for example, like look at Adam. We knew, even in his trailer we saw it was like Joker's back one couldn't hit his trait, and then 16-bit on the stream was like, we play tested it, we changed it because we thought that was too good.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of in a good spot where it's like, yeah, his trait's really hard. Like, I know Black Adam can't do like any move on him essentially, like even his down one whiffs. But then there's other characters that can hit him for sure with no problem.
Well, I mean that. People freak out about Adam, and I don't know why. Like, when he goes into the fucking trait, just block. Like, stop trying to fucking hit him.
It seems like that's where... Because he'll hit... The worst he can probably do at that point is hit you with the overhead, which is a splat knockdown.
Yeah,
and the throw, which is like, that's over.
The biggest cash-in for Adam is when he gets into the trait and he starts hitting you, and he gets a little combo. And then he gets out of it, and he's right on top of you. When he goes into the trait and he doesn't hit you... The burden's on him. He is risking... He's got to either get it with a throw or hit with an overhead. And if he doesn't, he's going to get fucking launched. So when he goes into that character power, you should be happy. And you didn't get hit initially, you should be like, great. This is great. Now all I got to do is block an overhead, maybe two, maybe a throw, and then he's fucked. And he's done. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'll fucking take that guessing game all day. Oh... You threw me. Good job. You got fucking 120 damage. Oh, I'm really hurting now. Like, who gives a fuck? Oh, I ate an overhead that did nothing. Who gives a shit? It's nothing. Just I let them fucking do that shit, and I'll let them do that overhead like 2 or 3 times in a row, and then when I really need it, I'll block it and I'll fucking get all that damage back and then some. Like, I don't fucking care. But yeah, that kind of goes back to, I love the fact that they're willing to take risks. And they do things different, and I think that's why it's just another reason why I really like the NRS games. Is they aren't afraid to fucking push the envelope a little bit.
Atrocitus is like his cat coming in, and he gets the shield move, and he can run pressure.
When he first came out, like, he was pretty fucking over the top. Same thing with Deadshot.
Yeah.
You know, they take risks, and you know, sometimes it's just fucking ridiculous, and they end up fixing it. But I'd rather them take risks and then make a fucking lame ass boring game.
Yeah, like I still think like Deadshot, Aquaman, and like maybe like Raiden and Sub-Zero are all not very good designs because they sort of fall into this weird category of they're either going to be really, really good or they're going to suck. Because I
don't even think Sub-Zero's that bad.
Well, I don't even think he's bad. I just think he's kind of like, I think he's actually turned out a little bit better. But my point is he's so aped from MKX instead of like being an Injustice character that like.
That's a hard transition. Yeah.
I mean, Raiden suffers the most for it. Like, he doesn't. I
don't even think Raiden's that bad. I just don't think anyone good plays with him.
Maybe not. But I think there's very few like, oh, these designs are really bad. Whereas in Injustice, most of the top 10, I'm like, these guys, you got to go back to square one on these guys because,
right?
Like Bane, like my God, Bane in Injustice 1.
That was awesome.
Man.
He was so stupid.
Yeah, like the save.
I mean, he started off really bad, and then he became super broke. Yeah.
Well, they added that meter burn Venom uppercut, which they just took away because I think they knew they didn't
having
know.
An unpunishable, fucking armor that fast.
It was safe.
It's so much fucking. It was safe. Oh my god. That was nuts. He had 2 safe armor moves. Yeah. He doesn't have one now.
Yeah, he doesn't have one. Yeah. And he's still pretty good, yeah. And his damage in fact, they actually buffed his normal damage. Like, his damage off a normal combo is a lot better. But his obviously his Venom uppercut moves aren't as good. he doesn't have a safe overhead like he did in the first game and stuff like that. And
I think
Flash, I think they toned down a decent amount from being like crazy in Injustice 1, and now he's still really good, but it's not nearly as bad.
Right.
Yeah. Green Arrow is a lot better.
I think he's good.
They added a few things that made his design a lot better. So I think they did a pretty good job overall.
It's a great game. It's a good game. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of why we were here, we mentioned it really early at the beginning of the show that like we feel like we had to do this because TYM's dead.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to get into that, but I actually have to get going to work.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, we missed it.
We missed what?
We missed it.
What do you mean?
We missed it. We were going to do it. We promised we were going to do it.
Do what?
Talk about the TYM being bad.
Oh, we can do that next time.
All right. Well,
I mean, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, tune in next time.
Next time while we figure this horse shit out.
I got to get going to work.
Never bad to know that you got a time limit when I didn't know there was one. But anyways, this is the first episode.
My bad. Yeah, I should have told you.
The pilot episode. There's going to be flaws, and there's going to be flaws, but we're going to figure it out. So,
I mean, this is over 2 hours long anyway.
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, you can edit this part out, but I mean, we could always do the TYM part like tomorrow, or maybe I guess I couldn't do it tomorrow.
This is staying.
Okay.
All right, so I guess signing off. This is, thanks for listening, and we hope to do this fairly often, maybe like a bi-weekly type thing, right?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how the response goes. We're going to throw this out there, see how people react, and we'll go from there. So I guess signing off. This is King Hippo.
This is Slips.
Play Injustice.
Peace.